new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We are having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM. Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour. Fired.
Also, tune into the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robeanne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide news at this hour, Jamaica is headed for a recession as the economic toll of Hurricane Melissa becomes apparent.
The government will not extend the JPS license, but a conditional loan is coming.
Mark Golding says the Prime Minister has been ignoring his recommendations on hurricane relief.
I have been bringing them to the attention of the Prime Minister through WhatsApp. He has not responded to me since last week, 10 days ago.
Mocha Hill's sentence is following in sports fraud case.
Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett expects a shift in the sector following Melissa.
In news from the rest of the world, Royal Turks and Caicos police force reports 40% drop in murders so far this year.
Ukraine says common understanding has been reached on peace deal to end war in Russia.
In headline sports, FIFA to keep top 4 seeded countries at next year's World Cup apart until at least the semi-finals.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, the Jamaican economy is heading for a recession following the impact of Hurricane Melissa. How concerned should Jamaicans be? Economist Keenan Faulkner and President of the Jamaica Employers Federation, Wayne Chen, will join us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, considering the size of the Melissa recovery bill, are you bracing for price increases? Give us your comments by logging onto our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90 FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the Holness Administration has announced plans to provide a conditional loan to the JPS in an effort to fast-track restoration efforts. We'll hear from Energy Minister Darrell Vaz.
At 7, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is alleging election interference from a CARICOM neighbor. That's the leader of opposition from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Godwin Friday, will react to the allegation.
At 8, it's Prescription for Life with Dr. Andre McDonald.
And at 9, it's Affairs of the Heart with Rodney Campbell.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile Nationwide 90 FM, RevoNews.ai, on the Revo News app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, November 25, 2025.
The hour is brought to you by the new Doritos Zinger from KFC. The delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy Zinger and Doritos. Also available in Barbecue Zinger, limited time only. KFC Doritos Zinger, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, is projecting that the country will go into a recession as a result of the economic shock from Hurricane Melissa. PIOJ Director General Dr. Wayne Henry gave the grim assessment during a quarterly media briefing on Tuesday. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
Following the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa, it was anticipated that the economy would suffer one of its most significant shocks in recent years. On Tuesday, the PIOJ confirmed that the outlook is bleak. Director General of the PIOJ, Dr. Wayne Henry, says the economy is headed for significant contraction.
Prior to the passage of Hurricane Melissa, the economy was poised for strong growth. Growth of 3.1% was estimated for the first half of the current fiscal year, and this was expected to continue throughout the second half. However, the passage of Hurricane Melissa will place significant downward pressure on most industries during the October to December 2025 quarter. In light of the foregoing, it is projected that the economy will contract within the range of 11% to 13% during the October to December 2025 quarter. The preliminary economic projection for fiscal year 2025-26 is for a contraction within the range of 3% to 6%.
The PIOJ says the unprecedented destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa is likely to put an end to the recent growth trajectory the country has been on.
This outlook stems from the devastation which the Category 5 hurricane had on residential and productive assets, to include the housing stock, the electricity generation, transmission and distribution network, the road network, and water supply infrastructure. It is expected that there will be a significant fall in output and demand during the short to medium term. This outturn would end the 3 consecutive quarters of economic growth, which reflected the gradual recovery following the passage of Hurricane Beryl and Tropical Storm Raphael during the latter half of 2024.
The grim projection comes amid news that the economy had continued its upward trajectory during the July to September quarter of this year. In fact, Dr. Henry says the country's GDP expanded by 4.6% during the quarter immediately before the hurricane struck the island. This is compared to the similar period for 2024.
Today, we are reporting that the economy grew by an estimated 4.6% during the July to September 2025 quarter, relative to the corresponding quarter of 2024. The estimated outturn for the review quarter largely reflected recovery from the low production base experienced in the similar quarter of 2024. The economy recorded relatively strong growth, driven mainly by the industries that were most impacted by Hurricane Beryl, that caused damage estimated at 56.7 billion Jamaican dollars in the corresponding quarter of 2024.
Both the goods producing and services sectors recorded improvements of 10% and 3% respectively between July and September. On the goods producing side, all industries registered gains for the period. Agriculture grew by nearly 24%, while construction, manufacturing, and mining all grew by between 4.8% and 3.8%. Growth among the services sector was more modest at 3%. This means for the first 9 months of 2025, the country's GDP grew by 2.4%. Now, Jamaica faces the prospect that Hurricane Melissa has laid waste to all that economic progress. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the PIOJ Director General says the country registered a marginal decline in poverty for 2024 compared to 2023. The figure moved from 8.2% to 7.8% over the period, but Dr. Henry says this falls within the margin of error.
In 2024, the national poverty rate was estimated at 7.8% of the population, compared with 8.2% in 2023. Given the margin of error, the 2024 rate is statistically similar to 8.2% recorded in 2023. Extreme food poverty remained at 2.7%.
He credited the decline to targeted government programs.
Poverty remained at levels similar to 2023, despite economic shocks. The relative stability of the poverty rate occurred in a year of economic disruption as real GDP contracted due to weather-related shocks, which reduced agricultural output and rural earnings. However, the government's targeted relief interventions, a moderation of inflation, and increased employment helped to preserve household consumption. In providing context, note that in 2012, poverty in Jamaica was 19.7%. That meant nearly 1 in every 5 Jamaicans was consuming below the poverty line.
Dr. Wayne Henry, Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica.
The Holness administration has announced plans to provide a conditional loan of $150 million to the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, in an effort to fast-track restoration efforts following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. But even with that support, the government is standing firm in its decision not to extend the light and power monopolies license under its current terms. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz made the announcement in the House of Representatives. The minister is now addressing the House, and we'll have more in Nation's Business. Opposition leader Mark Golding has accused Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness of not taking on board the opposition's input on aid and rebuilding in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Mr. Golding was speaking during a PNP media briefing on Tuesday. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
One by one, the PNP's slate of MPs from Western Jamaica decried what they say is the inadequate and politically motivated response from the government to Hurricane Melissa. The MPs raised issues from insufficient funds being allocated to concerns about public health. Opposition leader Mark Golding is specifically concerned that politics is colouring the recovery effort. He says despite raising the concerns with the Prime Minister, Dr. Holness has ignored him.
We have heard numerous reports that political representatives of the governing party are being used to distribute government relief in ways which they have no legal or political standing constitutionally to play that role. I have been bringing them to the attention of the Prime Minister through WhatsApp. He has not responded to me since last week, 10 days ago. So when the Minister of Information says that we have been communicating constantly, that is simply untrue.
The opposition leader says the Prime Minister's recent announcement regarding the establishment of the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority needs clear transparency measures.
I note that there's a decision that has been taken to enact legislation to establish a new reconstruction agency, which will have wide powers to ensure that decisions can be taken very quickly when it comes to rebuilding, for example. But where you are circumventing normal procedures, it is all the more important that the thing be done in a transparent manner and that all critical stakeholders should be at the table when those decisions are being taken or being reviewed.
The opposition leader says the Prime Minister's recent announcement regarding the establishment of the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, NARA, needs clear transparency measures. Mr. Golding says he takes note of the Prime Minister's failure to highlight what the opposition's role, if any, will be in NARA. He says the opposition's involvement is needed in order for the rebuilding process to be depoliticized.
The Prime Minister, in making that announcement, spoke of a broad-based governance structure for this new authority. I had called for something of that nature right after the hurricane. However, I noticed he made no mention of the opposition being at the table. But I can tell you that if we want Jamaica to get back on her feet as quickly as possible, and if we want people to feel that the response is equitable and is without political bias, it is important that critical stakeholders be at the table, and the opposition should be part of that process.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Mr. Golding is urging the government to rethink its relief allocation to Western MPs. He's reiterating his call for $50 million per MP.
Off the cuff, I was asked what did I think would be an appropriate figure to empower the constituencies with. I'd said 50 million. Certainly, a $50 million allocation would allow MPs to respond to the huge need in a more meaningful way. Instead, they've been put in this invidious situation where essentially they're asked to allocate to 100 people when the needs of their constituents are thousands of people. Government needs to wheel and come again with this and rapidly put in place a response on the ground to the shelter needs.
He also wants to see residents from affected communities being involved in the recovery process so they can benefit financially.
It is an opportunity also to run some income on the ground where people have lost their jobs or their businesses have been closed and get the economy moving. We could have mobilized brigades of people who need income to help with the cleanup, which is now very sporadic and needs to be dealt with the public health risks and also with the shelter issues. Let us mobilize people on the ground, have some money flowing through those communities, get the economy back at the grassroots level so that people can have some hope and so that the needs of the people are being addressed in an efficient and quick way.
Mark Golding, opposition leader, he was speaking at a PNP media briefing on Tuesday.
The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency MOCA is welcoming the recent convictions of former Institute of Sports financial controller Andrew Wright and his two co-accused. Wright, along with O'Neill Hope and Rudolph Barnes, were sentenced for their role in a $200 million fraud scheme at InSports. Wright was convicted of conspiracy to defraud, engaging in a criminal transaction, corruption, and facilitating the retention of criminal property. He was sentenced to 10 years and 7 months in prison. Barnes received a 3-year sentence after being found guilty of conspiracy to defraud and corruption. Hope was sentenced to 5 years and 9 months for conspiracy and acquiring criminal property. MOCA's Director of Legal and Prosecutorial Services, Nigel Park, says the convictions represent not just a legal conclusion, but also demonstrates the commitment of MOCA's team of investigators and prosecutors. In securing the convictions, MOCA says its team worked closely with law enforcement partners to gather the evidence. This includes scrutinizing hundreds of bank transactions and account summaries. It also included securing and analyzing over 60 forged bank checks and interviewing numerous officials at InSports.
You are listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
See twice the style for less at IQ Optical. Buy one pair of glasses and get your second and third pair half price. Don't miss out. Call 876-929-7732 or visit IQ Optical today, where clarity never looked sharper.
The time by IQ Optical is
5:15.
Termites, rodents, or birds infesting your home or office? Call Rentokil Initial, the pest expert, at 876-926-4236 for a free pest assessment island-wide. The temperature brought to you by Rentokil Initial is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 in Montego Bay.
This is a public service announcement from JPS. JPS is urging customers not to pay anyone to have their electricity service reconnected. Customers are reminded that unauthorized reconnections can be extremely dangerous and can result in serious injury, electrocution, or damage to property. This practice is unethical, illegal, and could delay restoration efforts. If anyone claiming to represent JPS requests payment for reconnection services, report it immediately to the nearest police station or JPS. JPS thanks all customers for their patience as teams continue working to restore power safely and as quickly as possible. That was a public service announcement from JPS.
Continuing the news, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says he anticipates a shift in the tourism labor market to post-Hurricane Melissa recovery.
Post-Melissa will offer opportunity for resetting in a number of areas. And certainly labor market arrangements is not outside of that realm. And as we work to build the capacity of our workers to deliver at a higher level, and the market itself to respond to that new meritocracy that hopefully will emerge, we will see change, and I have no doubt that that will be evident. Whilst I cannot predict with accuracy the type of responses that you will get from each property basin, I can certainly say we are expecting to see significant changes.
The tourism industry may experience a major setback to its projected growth by 7% this winter season and the arrival of over 4 million visitors. This as the management of several hotels and resorts across the island have scaled back operations due to infrastructure damage. The government has put forward a December 15 reset date for the industry. Minister Bartlett says at least 60% of hoteliers are on track to meet this deadline. He says that while the changes in the labor market cannot be determined by the government, it can provide the framework.
Ours will be the responsibility to create the framework in which that market energy can be expressed. Governments certainly do not insert themselves into the actual labor market arrangement except to assist in enabling the market to function fairly and efficiently. We will support the entities on both sides to enable a fair and equitable market arrangement.
Edmund Bartlett, Tourism Minister. Minister Bartlett was speaking on Nationwide this morning on Tuesday.
Meanwhile, Minister Bartlett says the strength of brand Jamaica on the international market will help in bolstering confidence for the sector's recovery.
Jamaica enjoys a 42% repeat business. What it means is that our customer base is structured in a way that enables one to be relatively sure that when you begin any given year of activity, 42% of the business you had is going to be back with you. The level of brand loyalty is also dictating that people who are cancelling or saying we won't do the vacation now are saying, okay, fine, we will be back when Jamaica is ready. So that's one of the reasons we can be fairly secure in the V-shaped recovery.
Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism.
3 houses in a tenement yard on Milk Lane in West Kingston were engulfed in flames earlier on Tuesday. It's understood that the fire brigade was alerted to the fire sometime after 1 p.m. Deputy Commissioner at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Warren Malcolm, says the extent of the damage is still unknown.
Units from the Trench Town, Rollington Town, and Halfway Tree responded to the call. 3 medium jets were brought into operation to fight the blaze. Fire is confined to 3 houses arranged in a multiple home setting. Fire was brought under control at approximately 2:35 p.m. Cooling down operation is still ongoing. We are unable to say the number of persons affected at this time or the cause of the fire, as firefighting operation is still ongoing.
Warren Malcolm, Deputy Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force has reported that murders have dropped by 40% in 2025. Also on the decline are attempted murders, down 25%, and rape, down 33%. The TCI police say they have also seized 21 illegal firearms and 500 rounds of assorted ammunition so far this year. The number seized for all of 2024 was 17. The island's Commissioner of Police, Fitz Bailey, says the decline is attributable to a combination of community partnerships, targeted operations, and ongoing reforms within the force.
Ukraine says a common understanding has been reached with the U.S. on a peace deal aimed at ending its war in Russia. The proposal is based on a 28-point plan presented to Kyiv by the U.S. last week, which American and Ukrainian officials worked on during the weekend talks in Geneva. In a post on social media, U.S. President Donald Trump said the original plan has been fine-tuned with additional input from both sides. He said he's directed Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to meet with President Putin in Moscow, and at the same time, Secretary of the Army Dan Driscoll will be meeting with the Ukrainians. No date was given for the proposed meetings.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, Jamaica is headed for a recession as the economic toll of Hurricane Melissa becomes apparent.
It is projected that the economy will contract within the range of 11% to 13% during the October to December 2025 quarter.
The government will not extend the JPS license, but a conditional loan is coming.
Mark Golding says the Prime Minister has been ignoring his recommendations on hurricane relief.
I have been bringing them to the attention of the Prime Minister through WhatsApp. He has not responded to me since last week, 10 days ago.
Mocha hails sentences following in sports fraud case.
I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at revonews.ai and on the Revo News app. It's available on Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
The hour was brought to you by the new Doritos Zinger from KFC. The delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy Zinger and Doritos. Also available in Barbecue Zinger, limited time only. KFC Doritos Zinger, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
We in this together, hands on hearts spread wide. We know things will get better, working side by side. We in this together, rebuilding homes and lives, no matter the weather. You are not alone.
Sagicor is contributing over $200 million to Jamaica's Hurricane Melissa recovery. We're also standing by our clients. If you're a client in need of support, call 888-SAGICOR.
Outperform, outlast, Hilti. With top performance, Hilti. Jackhammer, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. With 2 to 3 years. Hilti, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The West Indies were 21 without loss at sports time on day 1 of their 2-day tour game against New Zealand 11 at the Bert Sutcliffe Oval, the Lincoln University in New Zealand. John Campbell 6 and Tajnarain Chanderpaul 13 are the not-out batsmen. Jamaica's O.J. Shields, who was called up for his first test squad, he's playing in this game along with Kemar Roach, who was recalled to the West Indies team. This is the first and only warm-up for the West Indies ahead of the first test against the Kiwis, set to bowl off on December 2 in Christchurch. And after a lengthy delay, officials were forced to abandon the CG United Regional Super 50 game between Jamaica Scorpions and the Barbados Pride at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. Meanwhile, there was no play in the other 2 games as well. The 2 games scheduled, one over at the Queen's Park Oval between the Leeward Islands Hurricanes and the Guyana Harpy Eagles. That game ended in a no result, while over at the Sir Frank Royal Ground at Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, they were scheduled to go against the Windward Islands Volcanoes, but that game was abandoned without a ball bowled. Now, South Africa, they're on the brink of a first Test series win in India for a quarter of a century after reducing the host to 27-2 in pursuit of 549 on day 4 of the second test in Guwahati. India, who were scheduled out for 201 in their first innings, must bat throughout the final day to avoid a second whitewash in 3 home series. Resuming on 26 without loss, South Africa, they wobbled to 77 for 3, losing 3 wickets for 18 runs in 13 overs before Tristan Stubbs took charge. Top scoring with 94, he shared in a central partnership with Tony De Zorzi, and they added a further 82 alongside Vian Mulder, who powered the South Africans' overnight lead of 314, well beyond 500. He missed out on a 3rd Test century when he was bowled by a slower ball from spinner Ravi Jadeja, and they ended with 4 for 62, and that prompted a South Africa declaration. In reply, the Indians lost 2 wickets inside 10 overs. Yashasvi Jaiswal, he was caught behind off Marco Jansen, and of course KL Rahul bowled by Simon Harmer. And prior to last October's a 3-0 defeat by New Zealand, they had not lost a test series on home soil for 12 years, the Indians. South Africa won the 2-test series opener in Kolkata by some 30 runs. Yeah, folks, if you're a football fan, you would have enjoyed this one today, because the World Club champions Chelsea, they produced a performance of intent in the Champions League on Tuesday. They impressively brushed aside FC Barcelona by 3-0 in London. Jules Koundé own goal set Chelsea on their way before the little Brazilian magician Estevao blasted in from close range, and Liam Delap added the gloss close to the end.
Correa onside. Surely this time, yes. I think Neto might have smuggled that in. Estevao skipped into space. Oh! That is special. Teenage kicks. Young, gifted, and Brazilian. It's one of football's favourite recipes. Enzo Fernandez and Delap. Well, that's a big moment for him.
Yeah, outstanding performance from Chelsea today. They were really sumptuous. And it was their 3rd win of the campaign, and because of that, they're now up to 5th in the standings. They're 2nd in the English Premier League, so they're having a really wonderful early season. In other key games today, Olympique Marseille, they stopped Newcastle United by 2-1 in France. Borussia Dortmund, they clobbered Villarreal by 4-0. This happened in Germany. And Manchester City, the former champions, they crashed 2-0 at home to Bayer Leverkusen. And Benfica tagged Ajax Amsterdam by 2-0 over in Holland. Tomorrow, that's Wednesday, it's going to be a big one, a huge one. It's the top 2 teams, the leaders Bayern Munich against the leaders of the Premier League. So the German leaders against the English leaders, Arsenal at the Emirates in London. That's an unmissable Champions League banger for you tomorrow. And finally, in sports at this time, the top 4 seeded countries will not be able to meet each other, at least not until the semifinals at the FIFA World Cup next year. FIFA has decided to keep the top 4 seeded countries apart for the first time in history. And the world governing body has announced that Spain, the seeded 1, and Argentina 2 will be paired and placed into groups in opposite halves of the draw. France 3, England 4 will also be paired, which means that England will not be able to come up against España, that's Spain, or Argentina, until the semifinals, and France until the finals. So they're waiting on all the big games to take place in the latter stages of the World Cup. We're going to have a lot more information on this particular story when we come back in our major sportscast that will come your way at 6:05 this evening.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
For all your custom framing, printing, graphic design, and purchase of art, Make It Frame Art Jamaica Limited, serving you for over 40 years. The time by Frame Art Jamaica is
5:31.
From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocho Rios to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's Airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
30 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 28 in the western city, Montego Bay.
SCL Jamaica Limited is having a big blowout sale. Up to 70% off on Milwaukee tools. From power drills to saws, their top-notch Milwaukee tools will handle any project with ease. Hurry to SCL Jamaica Limited at Block L, Sagicor Industrial Center, 7 Norman Road, or call 876-938-1397 for more details. Sale runs November 10 to 28. Terms and conditions apply. Milwaukee, nothing but heavy duty.
Jamaica, we have weathered many storms. Sometimes a helping hand makes all the difference.
That's why the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is working tirelessly, along with parish disaster committees, the Jamaica Defence Force, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, government agencies and the private sector, and other valued local and international partners, bringing relief to thousands of families affected by Hurricane Melissa. Together we rebuild. Together we emerge stronger. For further information, call our Client Care Center at 876-922-8013. Send us a WhatsApp message at 876-582-8972 or 876-849-8614 or email us at clientcare@mlss.gov.jm.
The Ministry of Labor and Social Security, the People's Ministry, leaving no one behind.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
They've lost homes.
Everything is gone. Have no house, have nothing.
They've lost power.
No water, no food, no light, no bed. Jamaican people need desperate help.
Some haven't heard a familiar voice in days.
The last thing I said to my sister, please be safe. And that was the last time.
For others, hope is starting to ebb. But together, we are rebuilding Jamaica one parish at a time.
Well, we have tried. We have to try. Can't give up.
Join Nationwide 90 FM from November 21 to December 19, every Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we broadcast live from Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, and St. Elizabeth, helping families and communities rebuild after Hurricane Melissa.
And you can help too.
Bring your donations, non-perishable food, water, hygiene products, lighting, or recovery supplies to our office at 14 Ocean Boulevard, the Digital Building, downtown Kingston.
Let's show the true strength of our nation: unity, compassion, and care. Together, we can rebuild lives and restore hope. Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Give us strength. Never let I fail.
Public opinion. Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican. Different people.
It's not a matter of a JLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, Cliff. Good afternoon to the listeners. My name is Ricardo Brooks, and it's a busy news day, certainly busy in the Parliament. The Energy Minister providing a significant update to the country. The government is prepared to give a conditional loan of $150 million to the JPS, but it's a hard no on that 15-year extension of the license. We'll have more on that later on.
Well, we're going to begin with the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the PIOJ, reporting today that the country will go into a recession as a result of the economic shock from Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. The PIOJ Director General, Dr. Wayne Henry, gave the grim assessment during a quarterly media briefing. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
Following the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa, it was anticipated that the economy would suffer one of its most significant shocks in recent years. On Tuesday, the PIOJ confirmed that the outlook is bleak. Director General of the PIOJ, Dr. Wayne Henry, says the economy is headed for significant contraction.
Prior to the passage of Hurricane Melissa, the economy was poised for strong growth. Growth of 3.1% was estimated for the first half of the current fiscal year, and this was expected to continue throughout the second half. However, the passage of Hurricane Melissa will place significant downward pressure on most industries during the October to December 2025 quarter. In light of the foregoing, it is projected that the economy will contract within the range of 11% to 13% during the October to December 2025 quarter. The preliminary economic projection for fiscal year 2025-26 is for a contraction within the range of 3% to 6%.
The PIOJ says the unprecedented destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa is likely to put an end to the recent growth trajectory the country has been on.
This outlook stems from the devastation which the Category 5 hurricane had on residential and productive assets, to include the housing stock, the electricity generation, transmission and distribution network, the road network, and water supply infrastructure. It is expected that there will be a significant fall in output and demand during the short to medium term. This outturn would end the 3 consecutive quarters of economic growth, which reflected the gradual recovery following the passage of Hurricane Beryl and Tropical Storm Raphael during the latter half of 2024.
The grim projection comes amid news that the economy had continued its upward trajectory during the July to September quarter of this year. In fact, Dr. Henry says the country's GDP expanded by 4.6% during the quarter immediately before the hurricane struck the island. This is compared to the similar period for 2024.
Today, we are reporting that the economy grew by an estimated 4.6% during the July to September 2025 quarter, relative to the corresponding quarter of 2024. The estimated outturn for the review quarter largely reflected recovery from the low production base experienced in the similar quarter of 2024. The economy recorded relatively strong growth, driven mainly by the industries that were most impacted by Hurricane Beryl, that caused damage estimated at 56.7 billion Jamaican dollars in the corresponding quarter of 2024.
Both the goods producing and services sectors recorded improvements of 10% and 3% respectively between July and September. On the goods producing side, all industries registered gains for the period. Agriculture grew by nearly 24%, while construction, manufacturing, and mining all grew by between 4.8% and 3.8%. Growth among the services sector was more modest at 3%. This means for the first 9 months of 2025, the country's GDP grew by 2.4%. Now, Jamaica faces the prospect that Hurricane Melissa has laid waste to all that economic progress. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Thanks, Siobhan. We're now being joined by economist Keenan Faulkner and the president of the Jamaica Employees Federation, Wayne Chen. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chris. Good afternoon, Wayne. Good afternoon, Ricardo, and to your listeners.
Good afternoon. Let me start with you, Keenan. News from the PIOJ, not completely unexpected, is it?
No, definitely not. I think it represents the final stage of economic recovery from Beryl. So that 4.6, which was slightly above the 3 to 4%, I think that had been predicted for this quarter, but effectively, not by that much. It was just getting us back to zero. So, getting us back to where we were prior to Beryl, and now Melissa has thrown that practically off course. So the October to December quarter will be negative, but in terms of the overall economic fallout, So you see that the playbook will probably be the same as during COVID. You have 1 quarter of very significant decline, and then the succeeding quarters, each succeeding quarter will now start to pull Jamaica back out of that hole. But the difference now is that there was no infrastructure damage during COVID. So there's that damage to productive assets, that have been taken out of commission, and they have been, offline to get that back up and running, as well as now to re-establish connectivity in some places, and for just rebuilding infrastructure in a post-disaster investment boom. Growth now going forward is going to be heavily conditional on the pace with which the government can execute that.
Yeah, and help our listeners, Keenan, just to understand, because I've been trying to wrap my own mind around it, the distinction between the shock that we suffered, and you started just now, during COVID-19, and this shock, because people are asking the question, if we rebounded so quickly after COVID, perhaps there isn't much to worry about in this instance. Would you agree with that?
Well, there is a chance that Jamaica can have a quick recovery, similarly to COVID in 2 to 3 years. But like I said, that depends extremely on how well the government can be nimble and agile in executing capital expenditure and using the proceeds of its insurance instruments in order to kickstart that initial recovery. So with COVID, tourism, it was easy to get tourism back online, but now we have infrastructure damage in tourism. Agriculture, the losses are much greater than they would have been during COVID. So now it is just left to see what are the spending plans of the government going forward. How are they going to now allocate these resources that they have at their disposal to now kickstart and that recovery process?
We're up on the break, gentlemen. After the break, Wayne Chen, we bring you in. Stay with us, Keenan. Stay with us.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy. New collaboration, run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good. We in this together, hands on hearts spread wide. We know things will get better, working side by side. We in this together, rebuilding homes and lives, no matter the weather. You are not alone.
Sagicor is contributing over $200 million to Jamaica's Hurricane Melissa recovery. We're also standing by our clients. If you're a client in need of support, call 888-SAGICOR.
14 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. If you're just joining us, the Planning Institute of Jamaica today at a quarterly media briefing putting Jamaicans on warning the economy is heading into a recession as a result of the shock delivered to it by Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. We have with us economist Keenan Fortin and the president of the Employers Federation, Wayne Chen, to react to the numbers and the news we're getting. Wayne, your time. How do you see what we heard? What's your assessment based on what we heard today from the PIOJ?
It's in line with what we expected. We are back to where we were just before Beryl. And I think many Jamaicans, because the majority of Jamaicans were far from the real area of impact, which would mostly have been St. Elizabeth, South Manchester, my neck of the woods. We didn't realize the devastation that had been caused by Beryl. Little did we know it was just a teaser for what was to come. I mean, Beryl in the end cost the economy around $500 million, a little more than $500 million. This Melissa, which has no historical precedent, not even Gilbert, will end up costing us around $8 billion, not counting lost opportunity costs. This is just for infrastructure, homes, and so on.
And by the way, you're talking about US dollars.
US dollars, real money.
Mm-hmm.
So we have never had this kind of historical shock to the economy.
Mm-hmm.
There are elements of the recovery that will have to be balanced, not just the top line numbers, not just making the GDP look good. There are many inputs into getting us to a place where we can rebound as quickly as possible. There is an old adage, that we should never let a crisis go to waste.
Yep.
Similarly, the Chinese have long said that crisis equals danger plus opportunity. And we have to look at the opportunity. This is an opportunity for Jamaica to build back better.
Mm.
We have long talked about our vulnerability to exogenous shocks, as we have seen with Gilbert, as we have seen with Ivor, as we have seen last year with Beryl and Raphael. People don't even remember Tropical Storm Raphael that came a couple of months after Beryl.
Mm-hmm.
And now we see with Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
With the risk being that with the impact of climate change, we will see bigger and bigger storms. So category 5 may well become the norm in the future.
Yeah.
So what is the instant? I want to break up recovery into short, medium, and long term. In the short term, we have to preserve Jamaica as a society. It might seem commonplace to say it, but the risk is that as the months go on and electricity is not restored, roads are not rebuilt, businesses are not catalyzed back into life, that people will despair. History throughout the world is replete with countries which have had social upheaval following large natural disasters.
Or social bonds will loosen.
Yes, yes. So the first thing we have to be mindful of is maintaining social peace and order. That will mean that the efforts to break the gangs and reduce violent crime will have to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Counterintuitive, but we have to continue. But it has to be married with targeted relief for the most vulnerable or the most needy. We saw that during COVID with direct payments to families in need. We have to do that this time around, even more efficiently and perhaps in a more robust and sustained manner, because there are people who will remain homeless or near home some months, if not years to come. We have to recognize that the state cannot do it all. I mean, the initial assessment was somewhere between 25 and 30,000 homes badly damaged and 100,000 damaged to some degree. That is way beyond the capacity of the state to rebuild every home or to repair every home. Ever. We have to recognize that this is where other Jamaicans, through their private efforts, largely the diaspora, but also local Jamaicans helping families and communities and friends, will have to be facilitated in that process. So we'll have to find ways to ensure that that pipeline of funds coming through, whether MoneyGram and Western Union, whether Jamaicans of goodwill flying down to assist families, that pipeline is efficient and smooth, that the cost and availability of building materials, of people who can actually build, are there. Because the rebuilding of the homes, the houses, the residences, the dwellings that have been shattered is largely going to be a private effort.
Yeah.
Not a state effort.
If I could just go back to Keenan on that point, Wayne, because Keenan, you talked about the state needing to be nimble in responding, especially as it relates to capital spending. And Cliff and I were saying during the break that we've not been very good at that, being nimble and spending the capital budget. And Cliff made the point that perhaps this presents an opportunity to finally face the bureaucracy that has been creaking and slow to respond in the kind of way that Wayne outlines. Are you confident, Keenan, that we'll be able to do that?
Well, I mean, Jamaica doesn't really have much choice right now. Those capacity constraints will have to be overcome with even greater urgency than before. So this is really a monumental task. It's not something where we should have been in this position where capital expenditure is underspent for the last 3 to 4 years. Now, that was suboptimal. Right now, the crisis and the scale of magnitude of this disaster really requires a counter-cyclical spending approach. Fiscal policy needs to be expansionary. The government needs to spend the money, right? Even when, it's not there. And that's just to say that we're already projected to run deficits, very sizable deficits in the next year and the year after that. Those deficits will widen. But the government now, as a matter of priority, needs to actually spend the money where it is required. And I would venture to say as well that fiscal policy must now be complemented by a similarly expansionary monetary policy, and the two of them have to work together to lift output to the levels that are required, because the danger of GDP that takes long to recover is going to cause even more economic strain.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, that's for the government to figure out. We have an escape in terms of the fiscal rules which have been suspended for this same purpose. So that
and then the elephant in the room, Keenan and Wayne and Ricardo, is the public procurement process and bureaucracy. Yes? Because the politicians are afraid of that, because they want political cover, because they don't want to be facing the hammer down the road that, listen, you did not follow the book. Yes? How do we deal with that elephant in the room?
Well, Chris, accountability doesn't get suspended during this time when it's an emergency situation. And it's a very, I wouldn't want to be in the position of the political director to have to toe this line and, try and find a balancing act between it. Because at the end of the day, really, we are in a position that requires these resources to be deployed at scale and speedily. So, the speed with
but we still have to maintain a high level of accountability.
Because frankly, the politicians are afraid that the same citizenry will turn around and say, "You're a thief." That's what it is,
Want to thief the money.
I'll say this, gentlemen. We have technology here that can actually help us. I don't think anyone around this table, this metaphorical table, is suggesting that removing bureaucracy, removing red tape must mean a watering down of governance, a watering down of accountability.
No.
What we have not been good at in the past is transparency. There is and this is not in the political directorate. This is really in the bureaucracy, in the public sector. There is an allergy to sharing information, to opening up the workings, the inner workings for inspection. This shouldn't be the question that I should know of, a request for access to information. I think sharing of information now is critical. One of the opportunities that I think is born out of this crisis is moving towards joined-up government, and joined up in a way that government becomes more transparent, right down to the nitty-gritty. And this is the sort of discussion we should be having in a very, very short term. How do we open it up to more scrutiny so it doesn't fall only on the Contractor General's desk or the Integrity Commission or the Auditor General after the fact? Because these are all damage assessors after the car has crashed. How do we open up the car so everybody's looking at the speedometer and the gas gauge while the car is running? And this is metaphorical. It can be done.
Yeah.
There are countries that do it. We have to now have the political will to be more transparent.
Keenan, the next fear, silent, quiet, running through the population, is the reading of the next budget. Do you anticipate that the government will have to raise taxes?
Well, I don't think the government will do it. It's not politically popular. It's definitely not socially desirable at this point. The government needs to use its proceeds of insurance and be actually very targeted in how it spends it. The money is fungible. It must facilitate initial recovery in some way. Yes, the government has space to borrow. That's also an option, and they have signaled an intent to do that. So I don't think they will go the way of raising taxes at this time.
Is that avoidable, Wayne? from where you?
Yes. We were heading towards debt at around 60% of GDP. I believe we have a little maneuvering room. In fact, I may say something that is a bit counterintuitive. I believe that government may well forego things like import duties to stimulate economic growth, because there is going to be a period when we're going to have to import quite a bit. I don't think we moved quickly enough after burial to import food, especially fresh vegetables. And for a period, and it's worse now. I mean, I went into the market today, there was no string beans, no okras, no fresh pak choy. Prices have gone through the ceiling. I don't know which of you gentlemen go to the supermarket. But, $500 for a little pack of tomatoes is not going to cut it for the average consumer.
Can't.
So we're going to, and building materials, the rebuilding is going to have to be rapid. I think right now there's congestion in the outgoing ports in the U.S. for things to come to Jamaica. Not because we are bureaucratic here, we just have not built the capacity to handle so much input in such a short period of time. But so we're going to have to forego some customs duties, I believe, over the next year or so to facilitate rebuilding. The fact that a few luxury items might slip through, I think, is a small price to pay. But bureaucracy will stifle the rebuilding if we are not careful.
And what of those businesses, those small, medium-sized businesses whose market, their customer base in Western Jamaica is going to be wiped out for the next year or two? What of those businesses, Mr. President?
Just as we did during COVID, in the pandemic, when there was targeted assistance for some sectors, I think there has to be a targeted program. But as I say, again, very transparent, because I believe in transparency. We have technology that certainly can tell, which were the businesses, which one had employees, etc., etc. I think there has to be some payroll support, because we have to recognize that jobs are more than just a means of economic livelihood. If someone is without a job and is just sitting beside a shattered home now, the despair is great. If they at least can, clean up themselves and go out and spend a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, psychologically it's a much better nation than one where people are despairing in uncertainty. So targeted relief for the biggest employers in Jamaica, who happen to be in the small and medium enterprises, is one of the programs I would advocate for going forward as a part of maintaining social cohesion.
And how would that possibly look?
Some payroll support. Businesses would continue, understanding that they would need a helping hand, at least in the short term, while their own customer base is rebuilt. So targeted relief programs, which I mean targeted money straight to people who are without right now. It will mean some hit on the consolidated fund. We need to get better around spending. I mean, the NHD sits on hundreds of billions. The Heart Fund sits on hundreds of billions. We need to utilize those funds. People who are underemployed now should be encouraged to go into doing some short-term courses to get competencies where they can try the trade online. I believe that we have to use this opportunity, as I say, as we rebuild, to build resilience into the economy, which means a lot of Jamaicans will have to enter the virtual space. They will have to learn the skills to learn virtually. They will have to find opportunities that are not geographically tied to Jamaica. So it's a time that we have to retrain the workforce. If we depend for tourism, and depending on who is counting for up to 30% of our GDP, the next Melissa is going to hit us back, flat on our backs again. We have to diversify away from economic activities that are vulnerable to exogenous shocks. We have to develop our human capital. We talk about it, know that we're all focused. We have to be serious about it. So these are the areas that we have to be looking at in the short and medium term. But in the short term, to answer the question in a nutshell, the government has to be prepared to make direct payments to individuals and direct payments to job-creating enterprises.
Wayne Chen is the president of the Employers Federation, and Keenan Faulkner, an economist. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks, James.
Thanks for the platform.
Good.
Thank you. Take care.
That's a cover story. The headlines are next.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
3 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, is projecting that the country will go into recession as a result of the economic shock from Hurricane Melissa. PIOJ Director General Dr. Wayne Henry gave the grim assessment during a quarterly media briefing on Tuesday. Following the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa, it was anticipated that the economy would suffer one of its most significant shocks in recent years. Director General of the PIOJ, Dr. Wayne Henry, says the economy is headed for more significant contraction.
Prior to the passage of Hurricane Melissa, the economy was poised for strong growth. Growth of 3.1% was estimated for the first half of the current fiscal year, and this was expected to continue throughout the second half. However, the passage of Hurricane Melissa will place significant downward pressure on most industries during the October to December 2025 quarter. In light of the foregoing, it is projected that the economy will contract within the range of 11% to 13% during the October to December 2025 quarter. The preliminary economic projection for fiscal year 2025-26 is for a contraction within the range of 3% to 6%.
The PIOJ says the unprecedented destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa is likely to put an end to the recent growth trajectory the country has been on.
This outlook stems from the devastation which the Category 5 hurricane had on residential and productive assets, to include the housing stock, the electricity generation, transmission and distribution network, the road network, and water supply infrastructure. It is expected that there will be a significant fall in output and demand during the short to medium term. This outturn would end the 3 consecutive quarters of economic growth, which reflected the gradual recovery from following the passage of Hurricane Beryl and Tropical Storm Raphael during the latter half of 2024.
The grim projection comes amid news that the economy had continued its upward trajectory during the July to September quarter of this year. In fact, Dr. Henry says the country's GDP expanded by 4.6% during the quarter immediately before the hurricane struck the island. The Holness administration has announced plans to provide a conditional loan of $150 million to the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, in an effort to fast-track restoration efforts following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. But even with that support, the government is standing firm in its decision not to extend the Light and Power Monopoly's license under its current terms. Energy Minister Darrell Vass provided the update during Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives. JPS's license is set to expire on July 8, 2027, but the Light and Power Company had requested a 15-year extension to facilitate the process of securing funding for its Hurricane Melissa recovery. Minister Vaz sought to provide a temporary fix. He says the government will provide the funds to complete the restoration process in the next 3 months.
The government of Jamaica has agreed
to loan the JPS $150 million United States dollars on the basis that they will use that money, which is estimated at $75 million a month, to restore the entire grid, save and except for any special area that may not be reachable, but the major areas by the end of January, latest early February.
But any extension of the license is a no. Minister Vaz says the administration will not re-sign for its promise. The administration will not resile from its promise to provide a better energy deal for the people of Jamaica.
Any new license would be on new terms, a commitment that was made, a commitment that will stand, and no Melissa, no Trelisa, no Belinda is going to change that. The government of Jamaica is not prepared to negotiate any extension of any license other than the process that is going to take us from now until 2027 when this existing license expires.
Energy Minister Darrell Vaz. Opposition leader Mark Golding has accused Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness of not taking on board the opposition's input on aid and rebuilding in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Mr. Golding was speaking during a PNP media briefing on Tuesday morning. He says, despite raising the concerns with the Prime Minister, he has ignored him.
We have heard numerous reports that political representatives of the governing party are being used to distribute government relief in ways which they have no legal or political standing constitutionally to play that role. I have been bringing them to the attention of the Prime Minister through WhatsApp. He has not responded to me since last week, 10 days ago. So when the Minister of Information says that we have been communicating constantly, that is simply untrue.
The opposition leader says the Prime Minister's recent announcement regarding the establishment of the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, NARA, needs clear transparency measures.
I note that there's a decision that has been taken to enact legislation to establish a new reconstruction agency, which will have wide powers to ensure that decisions can be taken very quickly when it comes to rebuilding, for example. But where you are circumventing normal procedures, it is all the more important that the thing be done in a transparent manner and that all critical stakeholders should be at the table when those decisions are being taken or being reviewed.
Opposition leader Mark Golding. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay. Banton Sports is next.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jack on my figure, dig the wall.
Upper total tools.
Weed whacker figure, trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slive Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksall, St. Anne's Bay. Call us today.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alex Ribby. We bowl things off with some cricket as the West Indies were 54 without loss at sports time on day one of the two-day tour game against New Zealand 11 at the Bird Sutcliffe Oval, Lincoln University. John Campbell 28 and Taj Narayan shot about 22 of the not-out batsmen. Jamaica's Ajay Seal, who was called up for the first time in a test squad, is playing in this game, so too Kemar Roach. It is the only warm-up match for the West Indies before the first test against the Kiwis starting December 2. Now, after a lengthy delay, officials were forced to abandon the CG United Super 50 Cup cricket match between the Jamaica Scorpions and the Barbados Pride at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. Persistent rain and unplayable field conditions ultimately left umpires with no choice but to call off the encounter without a result. Meanwhile, the weather also wreaked havoc on the remainder of Tuesday's fixtures. There was no play in the other two scheduled games as the Leeward Islands Hurricanes and the Guyana RP Eagles saw their contest at the Queen's Park Oval ended in a no result. Similarly, the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force Windward Islands Volcanoes matchup, which was scheduled for the Sir Frank Royal Ground, was abandoned without a ball bowled. On the West Indies headline, Group C of the 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup, joining England, Bangladesh, Nepal and Italy as the tournament co-hosted by India and Sri Lanka was officially unveiled in Mumbai on Tuesday. In a major highlight from the announcement, India have been grouped with arch-rivals Pakistan in Group A, setting up a blockbuster clash on February 15 at Colombo's R. Premasada Stadium. Sri Lanka are slotted into Group B alongside Australia and Ireland, while New Zealand lead Group D with Afghanistan and South Africa. The World Cup runs from February 7 to March 8, with the finals set for Ahmedabad or Colombo. Semi-finals will be played in Kolkata or Colombo on March 4 and Mumbai on March 5, with Pakistan's knockout matches moved to Colombo if they qualify. A total of 20 teams will contest the event, following the same Group to Super 8 format used in 2024. Matches will be staged across Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Kolkata and in Sri Lanka at Colombo and Kandy, with 3 fixtures and a day during the opening phase. India began their title defense against the USA on February 7 in Mumbai, while the West Indies opened their Group C campaign against England on February 11. Now to football, as Jamaica's national senior women's football team conducted its first training session on Tuesday in St. Lucia as they fine-tuned preparation ahead of the opening clash in the FIFA World Cup qualifier against Dominica. Hubert Busby, head coach of the team, says he's expecting the team to work diligently throughout the various training sessions as they look to make a strong start in their bid for a third straight FIFA World Cup appearance.
You know, we want to get off to a great start, have a great week of training leading into the match, and you know we're approaching each and every match with the respect it deserves. So you know our preparation this week will be thorough to ensure that when we go out there we're firing on all cylinders to the best of our ability. So yeah, well it's important we get off to a great start. You know, result is the most important thing, but it's also important that we have a strong performance, and we're laying the foundation for strong performances throughout this campaign.
Busby added that while the squad lost a few of their veteran players, he's confident others will take the opportunity to stake a strong claim for first-team spots.
We've lost a few players, some notables in Allison Swaby, Kayla McKenna, Vian had a bereavement, Simpson had a bereavement. That's why they're not in this group. But we look at, you know, through the course of the last year, you know, we've done a really good job, I feel, of integrating a lot of young players in. Sometimes, like I said, the results hadn't really gone their way, but the players who we've integrated in, some are very few from our own youth teams or previously, they've stepped up admirably. And
Hubert Busby. Now, 8-time Olympic gold medalist and world record holder Usain Bolt says it was hard to watch the Reggae Boys' dismal display in their World Cup qualifier against Curacao at the National Stadium a week ago. The world 100 and 200 meters record holder says the players didn't exude confidence and showed no signs of wanting to go to the World Cup.
It's hard to swallow that pill because I don't feel like they really gave it their all. And they didn't leave everything out there on the field, all the players, so it really resonates in a bad way with me. One of them did. Why would you? There's no way. That means they didn't care. It didn't affect you in any way. You miss a moment as the World Cup for our nation that actually going through it now. You know what it would have meant for the people to have something to cheer about and to be happy about. And then after that, no, it's like you don't care. So, and as I said, they could see it on the field, they didn't play it with their heart. And so, it's just one of the things, and as sportsman, I said, it's really rough to watch.
Following his retirement in 2017, Bolt spent time training with football clubs in South Africa, Australia, Norway, and Germany. During his second trial stint with Australian team Central Coast Mariners, Bolt made headlines when he scored twice. Going forward, Bolt revealed that he will be watching Jamaica's football just as a casual fan of the sport.
If this was the easiest one and we make it slip away, we can't do the next heartbreak. We follow up on this, I'll watch, but can't get deeply invested again.
Usain Bolt. Now, World Cup champions Chelsea produced a performance of intent in the European Champions League on Tuesday with an impressive 3-0 win over Barcelona at Stamford Bridge. A Jules Koundé own goal set Chelsea on their way before the little Brazilian magician Estavo blasted in from close range with Liam Delap adding the gloss.
Correa onside. Surely this time, yes. I think Neto might have smuggled that in. Estevao skipped into space. Oh! That is special. Teenage kicks. Young, gifted, and Brazilian. It's one of football's favourite recipes. Enzo Fernandez and Delap. Well, that's a big moment for him.
It was Chelsea's third win of the campaign, and it puts them to fifth in the standings. In other key games on Tuesday, Marseille stopped Newcastle United 2-1 in France, Borussia Dortmund clobbered Villarreal 4-0 in Germany, Manchester City crashed 2-0 at home to Bayer Leverkusen, and Benfica tagged Ajax 2-0 in Holland. The big top of the table clash between unbeaten Arsenal and Bayern Munich at the Emirates will take the spotlight in Wednesday's schedule. Now, the top 4 seeded countries will not be able to meet each other until the semi-finals of next year's World Cup for the first time in the tournament's history. FIFA has announced that Spain first seed and Argentina second will be paired and placed into groups in opposite halves of the draw. France 3 and England 4 will also be paired, which means England will not be able to come up against Spain or Argentina until the semi-finals and France until the final. This only applies if the 4 countries win their groups. Orin Buchanan tells us more.
When 2 teams are paired, they are placed in opposite halves of the knockout bracket and cannot meet each other until the final. This happens at Wimbledon and in the Champions League format, where seeds are kept apart in pairs. FIFA wants to ensure the top-ranked countries do not meet earlier in the knockout rounds, thus potentially creating blockbuster games later in the tournament. The same ranking system was used for the Club World Cup in the summer. France knocked out England out of the 2022 World Cup with a 2-1 victory in the quarterfinals, while Spain defeated the Three Lions in the Euro 2024 final. The 4 pots for the final draw, which takes place on December 5, have also been confirmed. Scotland will be in pot 3, with the 6 playoff paths, which includes Wales, Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, Italy, all in pot 4. Debutants Uzbekistan are in pot 3, with fellow first-timers Jordan, Cape Verde and Curacao in pot 4. The 12 groups at the World Cup will include 1 team from each of the 4 pots. FIFA will start by drawing the teams from pot 1. Co-hosts Mexico A1, Canada B1, and the United States D1 will have their colored balls with their flags on to denote their special status. Their group positions are predetermined, so they play all their games in their own countries. Orin Buchanan, reporting for Nationwide Sports.
Thank you, Orin. And finally, in swimming, assistant coach of the Y Speeders Swim Club, Prince Easton, says he is confident the club will once again be strongly represented at the 2026 Carifta Swimming Championship set for Martinique. His optimism follows a string of outstanding performances from the team's rising stars during the just concluded Dean Martin Memorial Meet, where several athletes smashed both national and meet records. Easton says the results at the Memorial Meet were not only impressive, but also a clear indicator of the squad's growing depth and competitiveness. He says many of the swimmers currently dominating the local circuit are the same athletes who competed at the Goodwill Championships in August. He believed the experience gained at that regional meet has been instrumental in their recent success.
As usual, we always have a lot of kids on the Carifta team, but we're looking forward to the kids that went to the Goodwill Games this year who were in the 9-10 age group. Majority of those guys who won medals for the country are going to be on the national team going for Carifta Games this year. And there are kids that are shadowing them. Those kids will come up and we will be preparing them for the Goodwill Games next year.
Prince Easton, I'm Alex Ribby, and that's your sports.
For
all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:22.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy, new collaboration, run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
This is a public service announcement from JPS. JPS is urging customers not to pay anyone to have their electricity service reconnected. Customers are reminded that unauthorized reconnections can be extremely dangerous and can result in serious injury, electrocution, or damage to property. This practice is unethical, illegal, and could delay restoration efforts. If anyone claiming to represent JPS requests payment for reconnection services, report it immediately to the nearest police station or JPS. JPS thanks all customers for their patience as teams continue working to restore power safely and as quickly as possible. That was a public service announcement from JPS.
They've lost homes.
Everything is gone. Have no house, have nothing.
They've lost power.
No water, no food, no light, no bed. Jamaican people need desperate help.
Some haven't heard a familiar voice in days.
The last thing I said to my sister, please be safe. And that was the last time.
For others, hope is starting to ebb. But together, we are rebuilding Jamaica, one parish at a time.
We have tried. We have to try. Can't give up.
Join Nationwide 90 FM from November 21 to December 19, every Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we broadcast live from Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, Hanover, and St. Elizabeth, helping families and communities rebuild after Hurricane Melissa.
And you can help too.
Bring your donations, non-perishable food, water, hygiene products, lighting, or recovery supplies to our office at 14 Ocean Boulevard, the Digital Building, downtown Kingston.
Let's show the true strength of our nation: unity, compassion, and care. Together, we can rebuild lives and restore hope. Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby-Ann Williams. A special one to our friends over there on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, we want to hear from you because we like to hear from you. So we ask you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. Let's talk about how we the people, how we the people have been experiencing an increase in prices. Now, let's backtrack and look at what happened today with the PIOJ. The Planning Institute of Jamaica is projecting that the country will go into a recession as a result of the economic shock from Hurricane Melissa. PIOJ Director General Dr. Wayne Henry gave the grim assessment during a quarterly media briefing on Tuesday.
Prior to the passage of Hurricane Melissa, the economy was poised for strong growth. Growth of 3.1% was estimated for the first half of the current fiscal year, and this was expected to continue throughout the second half. However, the passage of Hurricane Melissa will place significant downward pressure on most industries during the October to December 2025 quarter. In light of the foregoing, it is projected that the economy will contract within the range of 11% to 13% during the October to December 2025 quarter. The preliminary economic projection for fiscal year 2025-26 is for a contraction within the range of 3% to 6%.
That's Dr. Wayne Henry, PIOJ Director General. Now, with this grim assessment, we can only wonder what this will mean for us. So in public opinion this evening, we've heard of the recovery bill. Considering the size of the Melissa recovery bill, are you bracing for price increases? We've already seen some increases as it relates to ground produce in our markets. And we spoke about some time ago during public opinion. So we want to know, are you bracing for further price increases? Let's go to our comments on our Facebook platform, where Nicola Nicholson is saying, yes, Melissa, just add to the multiple factors that would push up prices. Clifton Ricardo Russell is saying, yep, insurance and other big ticket items, even taxes. Michelle Bernard is saying the increase was before the hurricane. With America's tariff, no doubt more increases are expected. And George Elliott is saying the shortage of grown provisions, fruits, vegetables, and poultry products will inevitably result in increases in these prices, but they will be reduced once production becomes equal to demand. Derek Muir is saying it's already happening. Same week when the hurricane come, we see price increase. Mervyn Campbell, we started seeing this. Once again, our economy is on the fall right now. According to Mervyn Campbell, yes, increase in prices are something we have to brace for. Audley Phillip is saying price increase has already happened. Everything gone up. Except one thing, Audley Phillip, that we both, we can agree to, that one thing, no gone up. Fabian Smith is saying it already started. The major supermarket chain have massive increase. These supermarket chain owners are some wicked people. Georgina is saying, oh yes, starting with the JPS. Funny enough, Georgina, I got got the light bill, and it's not reflecting any increase. And I paused to say as yet, because somebody burst my bubble today when I said that it's not as much as I thought it would have been. Somebody burst my bubble and said, oh, remember I said the billing cycle, the billing cycle that you get is prior already. Yeah, prior to Hurricane Melissa. So, yeah, let's see what the Christmas holds in store. Eunice Anderson is saying price always increase, but worse now after Melissa, 1,200 a pound for saltfish. Well, I said it already and I'll say it again. Thank God me not eat saltfish. On our Instagram platform, if you're just joining us, we're asking, considering the size of the Melissa recovery bill, are you bracing for price increases? Leighton Levy is saying, well, it is inevitable. Yeah. Robert Gregory Lewis is saying, this is a hard question for answer, because how can you brace, the money little bit? Okay. Tristan is saying bracing for. Yeah. I believe that he's saying he's bracing for it. On our X platform, Nira is questioning why should we brace for price increases, and questioning also, didn't the government collect as much as we needed for the recovery? Another question, why should it affect our pockets and not the government? Well, let us see how that will unfold. Considering the size of the Melissa recovery bill, are you bracing for price increases? Let me go on over to our YouTubers to see what's happening. Some of the vendors are overdoing it. Merlene P believes that some of the vendors are overdoing it. Yeah? Oh boy. Honestly, when you go straight to the market, maybe it makes sense, unlike purchasing from people who went to the market themselves and come back for sell you. Because they're going to put on a little more money upon them thing, They're going to put on a little more money. Price always increases, fully disclosed. Let me see if I can get some more. I mean, I've been seeing the comment, people saying we should start farm in our backyard. I know everybody have backyard, we have townhouses, some of them. But yeah, Gladys is saying price increases are inevitable. Let's face reality. However, some people have taken it out of proportion. Speaking of taking things out of proportion, I've seen where the prices on generators have increased significantly. And I've seen a lot of comments in regards to that. Let me see. Gladys is questioning why some people comment so stupid. Because then talk out of them mouth. My granny would have said mouth make cross way for talk. Mega Harris is saying, same here. My light bill is a little down this month. Yeah. But we brace. I don't think we will embrace what's to come in terms of our light bills, but we brace for it. Let me see. Price. Yeah, read that one already. Josephine is saying we shouldn't have no price increase. Yeah. And KC is saying we should report them for price gouging. Yes, that is a thing. Feel free to report for price gouging. Blessed Marcia is saying the money little bit, but it's up to us to make it stretch. Money is little bit everywhere. When I came to Canada 15 years ago, $50 gave me a trolley full of things. Blessed Marcia, I believe that is a bag. Yeah, come out a grocery. The grocery store, you're coming out with a bag for $50. Like one little bag, now you're on. It amazes me at some point, at sometimes when I go shopping and the lady tell me say $10,000. I say $10,000 for what? Check again. Like sometimes it's shocking to see how the few little items, but then again, people will tell you it's the type of items that you purchase. Basic economics rather, political analysis saying it's basic economics. If the demand is great, the price will go up. If supply outstrips demand, prices will go down. Okay, yeah. And Gladys is saying, make sure sow some seeds, tomatoes, carrots, thyme, onion, scallion. Not for mention the scallion, Gladys, become here say $1,000. Dennis Barnaby is saying, what is the one thing that hasn't gone up? You and I know, Dennis, no need for say it out loud. X is saying, remember a famous politician once said to the people, Jamaica, grow what you eat and eat what you grow. Inflation is the greatest tax, says Neville. And Dre Views is saying, long road ahead. It's going to be a marathon in the struggle. Yeah? Christmas no look good at all. Yeah? Christmas no look good at all. Having a problem recognizing people these days. Oh, that's unrelated. PB. Yeah. According to Dr. Hero is saying the taxi driver from Santa Cruz to Malvern doubled the price from $250 to $500. Come on. Everybody have it hard, but at the end of the day, you go double the fare from $250 to $500. Where they go find it? Huh? Oh my. Neville is saying Jamaica is back to 2010. Jamaica will rise again, and he believes that will happen in another 3 to 4 years. The salary now go up, says I am winning right now. Miss Chin is questioning rather how realistic that reports on price gouging will be pursued to its logical conclusion. Well, that's a question for the consumer affairs. Unfortunately, that's the reality, says Dennis. Yeah? Oh, I know, Dennis Barnaby, that you're pulling figuratively. Yeah? I know everyone is going to ask for a salary increase. Well, everybody have it rough. That's all I can say at this point in time. Things are going to increase and we should brace for it. I don't know how much we can brace for it because the pocket weak, but let us see and let us give thanks in everything, right? One cocoa full basket. Thank you guys so much for participating in Public Opinion. The business report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:36. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robian Williams. Proven Wealth Limited, PWL, has arranged a $1.5 billion unsecured fixed-rate bond for the Jamaica Mortgage Bank, JMB. The transaction, the company says, is designed to strengthen the state-run mortgage finance's capacity to support housing developments across the island. Now, the deal was signed on September 22 at Proven's headquarters on Lady Musgrave Road in St. Andrew. The company says distribution will be carried out in Jamaica via private placement by way of an exempt distribution, and proceeds from the bond have been used by the JMB to refinance existing debt maturing in March and April 2025. Now, Venezuela has told international airlines to resume flights to the country within 48 hours or risk being stripped of their clearance to fly there altogether. Several airlines suspended their flights to Venezuela after the U.S. aviation regulator warned on Friday of heightened military activity in the area. The warning came as the U.S. ramped up pressure on the Venezuelan government, sending the world's largest aircraft carrier to the southern Caribbean as part of a larger military buildup. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 12 cents to buy $1 US, 212 Jamaican dollars and 26 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 113 Jamaican dollars and 16 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Run for rights, give for relief. Join Jamaicans for Justice at the Run for Rights 5K Run Walk, November 30, 6 a.m. sharp at the Police Officers Club, Kingston. Choose your cause: human rights, child rights, climate justice, or ending gender-based violence. Only $2,500 to enter. Medals, trophies, and more. Register now at my.raceresult.com/355144. Part proceeds in aid of hurricane relief. You can bring your essential items on race day. Every donation counts. Call 876-239-7583 for details.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy delicious, crunchy, new collaboration run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch.
The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
It's Monday. Get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With this thing, Honey Bee.
And Karim Boyatings
From 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you say?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezoneblindates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes. We're going to turn to the nation's business now, and it was revealed in the Parliament this afternoon that the Holness administration will provide a conditional loan of $150 million to the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, in an effort to fast-track restoration efforts following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Well, even with that support, the administration is standing firm in its decision not to extend the Light and Power Monopoly's license under its current terms. The Energy Minister, Daryl Vaz, made the announcement in the House of Representatives this afternoon. He joins us now. Good evening, Mr. Vaz.
Afternoon, Cliff. Afternoon, listeners. How are you doing?
I'm good. So tell me now, we had heard that JPS had made a case that it needed financing to be able to really fast-track the restoration support. What is surprising is that the government of Jamaica is now prepared to give JPS that loan. Tell me, how did that go? How did that evolve, and what are the terms?
All right. So the quick background is, as you recall, the license expires in 2027, and the license required the government indicate their position by July 2025, which we did to indicate to them that we would not be renewing the license on the existing terms. A new license would have to be negotiated, which means in essence that they have 2 years left on the license. But it's important to note that had we not acted and responded, they'd have gotten an automatic 10-year extension, which would have taken them to 2037 with the same conditions as the existing license.
If you had not acted by doing what?
If we had not responded with our position as to whether or not we were willing to extend the license or we were not willing to extend the license, for which we took the position that we're not.
Yes.
So then, of course, we were putting in place our team to negotiate with the JPS at the first start. Obviously, if that didn't bear fruit based on the fundamental changes that the government has insisted they want, then obviously we'll be able to go out to the open market to seek a replacement on the basis that the government will be responsible to buy out the assets of the JPS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so fast track to Melissa. Melissa comes, so devastation, category 5, and the JPS, with 2 years left on the license, is not able to raise any money on the capital market.
Mm-hmm.
So they give us a timeline for restoration, for full restoration of April to May next year, which is totally unacceptable in the urgency of the need for electricity in Jamaica. So the first thing they asked for is a 15-year extension, which would allow them to negotiate and get financing, for which we rejected. Secondly, the multilaterals who were prepared to provide for emergency financing stipulated they want 8 to 10 years extension in order for them to be secure of their repayment. Again, we made a commitment to the people of Jamaica prior to Melissa that we were not prepared to extend a license without new terms being agreed on. So the government was caught in a catch-22 position, because the JPS, to raise money, would need an extension, and we would not be prepared to give an extension without amendments.
Yeah.
So therefore, they would not be able to negotiate in the time that we would need to do that to be able to release the money.
Right.
So between myself and my permanent secretary, Minister Williams, and the FS, we had a meeting with JPS yesterday morning.
FS being the financial secretary.
Yeah, I made it clear to them the position of the government that we are not extending a license as is. So we would have to find a solution, for which we worked out a very, 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 very positive solution, which would be to lend them money on the basis that we will be secured in terms of the government and the taxpayers. And I'll explain to you very quickly how that would work. And secondly, we would separate any extension and continue the process that has started already with the negotiation of a new license, which is due in 2027. So basically, we separated the two issues as there's no possibility of the timelines being met for the urgency of the situation. So what did we do? We agreed to lend the JPS $150 million US for 5 years on terms that are to be agreed on with the MOF. I think they'll probably start having those discussions in short order. And I said that I mean if they haven't started already. Obviously, the interest rate, we would have to be cognizant of that because any interest rate that is above the norm would be a cost to the consumers, to the consumers at JPS, which we are aware of. So I expect that it will be the interest rates will be amenable to both parties for 5 years, with a provision in it that they can pay back in 2 years. Meaning, if they get a new license with new terms, then they would be able to raise capital and repay us because they'd have a new license.
Yes.
If they don't have a new license because the negotiations break down and we have to go to option 2, which will to buy out the assets and find a new provider, then our $150 million would be secured because that would be taken out of the payback. And then, most importantly, the possibility of any default would mean that the government of Jamaica would take the value in shares in the JPS. So it's a very, very, very,
So let me see if I understand. So that $150 million US is what they need
to restore in 2 months, December and January, to give me back power to the entire Jamaica by end of January, early February at latest, and all parishes, including the affected parishes. It means that they would bring in 300 additional linesmen to the 170 that they have now. They would get them here within 2 weeks with the equipment and all of those white trucks that you see all over the place on social media.
Yes.
You would have 470 linesmen across Jamaica dealing with every parish and every nook and cranny, rather than remaining at 170 and take until May or June of next year. A very straightforward decision. I can't understand the opposition to it and the questions that were asked of me in relation to the fact that there will be a requirement for additional money that for the entire restoration. This money, this $150 million, is tied to a specific work program that is going to deliver to me and the government and people of Jamaica.
What if they don't deliver on time the end of January, the full restoration across the entire island of Jamaica?
So the fact of the matter is that obviously the thing is fluid. They have done their assessment. They have come to me with that proposal. We will put in our mechanisms to obviously scrutinize the budgets that have been proposed and also the work that will take place. We have been offered international assistance in that regard. But based on the meeting that I had, and you know where I'm coming from with JPS in Beryl, and based on what I've seen them do in the short 4 weeks, I must give credit where credit is due. It's not 100%, but it definitely is a vast improvement. And the relationship that I have with the president of the JPS and the team at the JPS gives me the confidence to recommend to the government and the cabinet that this is a must-do for the people of Jamaica. There's no way that we can tell the people of Jamaica who are suffering and have been suffering for 4 weeks that there's a possibility that will go on for the first 6 months of 2026. That's just not, there's no caring government that could even think of not finding a way.
So those assets that they're going to be using the $150 million to bring into Jamaica will now be assets of JPS.
those assets will be contractors, linesmen, and equipment that they will engage to come in, and so they'll probably have one contractor now that has provided the 170, so they'll probably get two more contractors. They say their figures, round figures, is $75 million a month for the 300 linesmen, which is about 150 million has come about. They have given me a preliminary Christmas wish list, and also a January. They are now to come back to me with a detailed, so that the country can know exactly which parishes, which communities, when, where, how, including a plan for Christmas.
So it's linesmen and the white trucks that we have been seeing.
All of the equipment, all of the materials, equipment, and linesmen that are required. And that means I will be able to blanket the entire Jamaica. So right now, as you know, there's a lot of emphasis in St. James because of, obviously, the tourism sector and, of course, the tourism season and the need for the tourism workers to be re-employed and the government to earn revenues and JPS to earn revenues. So there won't be that won't be at the risk of other areas not being neglected.
Minister Vaz, the opposition in the House of Representatives just now sought to pin you down on essentially where this money is coming from, which agency is going to foot the bill, etc., etc. But you seem to be saying that those questions were unreasonable. Why?
Well, first of all, I cannot believe that the opposition leader could suggest that we hold on the $150 million until we find out from JPS how the additional money is going to be funded. I asked him the question, are you telling me that you are going to make a position like that when there are tens of thousands of people who don't have a tarpaulin over their head tonight and are in the open elements with rain and sun and all of that, and we are giving $150 million, which we know we are in a win-win with any scenario with the license, and you are telling me to hold that $150 million until we have a fulsome plan for the total amount of money.
So you see this as a compassionate act?
It's not a compassionate act. It's a responsible act by any government. The fact of the matter is that if we were to take that $150 million and buy some house, and buy some water tank, and anything that you do with it, and you don't have light till next year, May or June, how will the country come back to normalcy?
It's an economic decision as well.
It is absolutely not only a compassionate and a responsible, and it is heartless that any parliamentarian on any side could start to question the issue of the totality of the situation, knowing that we are into 4 weeks now, and the JPS is telling me that we are into 6 months of next year, and I'm going to advance $150 million, which I know is no risk to the government of Jamaica and the taxpayers of this country, whichever way the license go. And I can get those trucks and those linesmen will be here within the first 10 days of December working. You imagine 300 plus 170, what they can do working 18 hours a day, and how many people that would not be able to come down to a township and get some relief items and do business, buy food, whatever it is. We'll be able to at least get light into some of these areas so that those who don't have light can still go to a place and at least feel a little Christmas.
So the deal is $150 million from the Consul Fund. I don't know where you're getting it.
Right, and that's where I wanted to pick up with him, because Julian Robinson, in asking you a question, took shots at the finance minister, that he hasn't heard from her, that you and the rest of your cabinet colleagues are off on a frolic about what you will spend, but she has not updated the country as to the fiscal accounts, where we are, where we're getting the money from, how much we have left. He took that shot at her, but you also had a meeting with JPS and the finance minister, didn't you?
I had a meeting yesterday specific to this, specific to getting a deal on this. And the fact of the matter is that the $150 million out of the consolidated fund with all the insurance money and everything else that is to come in. It's not anything that is going to cause any upset in terms of the recovery and the fiscal arrangement. $150 million to get light back 3 months earlier.
And the economic returns, as against waiting until the middle of next year. But tell me, Mr. Vaj, you said this is separate and apart now from the negotiations for the new license, the new all-island electricity license. Yes? Is JPS interested in being the new provider under the new terms of the license?
They are interested in discussing it, and I am pleased to say that we signed a contract yesterday with the foreign consultants who are going to help the Jamaica negotiating team. And while we are doing the $150 million, we are going to start the negotiations on a new license as early as this week, next week latest, and we will know very early whether or not the fundamentals that we require are the JPS is willing to consider, and if they are not, then we will know early and we will move to step 2. So what I'm saying is that, Melissa, which could have interrupted and lessened the government's leverage if we didn't find a solution like what we found and I announced today, would have thrown us off in terms of any rush negotiation with any kind of amendments or an extension with no new terms.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have to make sure that our commitment to the Jamaican people, despite this catastrophe, was not leveraged, because had I given them a 15-year or they borrowed the money and we had to give them an 8-year, then it would be obviously a rush negotiation to get any concessions.
And your position would have been weakened.
We would have lost the handle and be holding the blade.
Mm-hmm.
And we have come out of this now with a responsible response, still having leverage of the license and the terms of the license that we are going to issue. And secondly, the work of the restoration fast-tracked
Yeah.
by 3 months.
Mm-hmm. So the entire country should have electricity restored by the end of January, you say?
End of January, early February is the timeline, and I will be reporting as soon as I have the fullness of the work schedule, and you don't have to worry in terms of making sure that I will make the public know at every step when the loan is finalized, what the terms of the loans are. Minister Williams will indicate that, and what is the work program. It was a meeting of the minds, and I can say that both the JPS chairman and president, the financial secretary, the minister of finance, the minister of energy, the permanent secretary, we all left there on one accord. There was not one dissenting voice in relation to what we had agreed on, as it is the best way forward in the situation that we find ourselves.
Daryl Vaz, considering the scope of work you have left to do in these portfolios, you may have to rethink your retirement plans, won't you?
No. I might have to serve the term. I might have to serve the full term, because I'm committed to that because of Melissa and all that I need to do. So that's a consideration. I would never leave the work half finished. I would have to complete the JPS license. I have to reflect the Melissa specifically, and of course my rural school bus. So that's where I am. But at this point, I'm working tirelessly because of the fact that I know the suffering that is out there. I see it, and seeing is believing. It's a devastation out there in the West, and we have a responsibility to do what we need to do as quickly. And what we have done today, I think every well-thinking Jamaican should say that the government has acted responsibly and compassionately, and we just have to do what we have to do to follow up now to make sure that the loan is concluded, the terms are made public, and the work program by the JPS is made public and monitored by a team of technical people, and of course that everything is transparent and accountable in my usual style.
Darrell Vaz is the
Thank
country's
you.
Energy and Telecommunications Minister. Thank you for your time.
God bless.
And I have to tell you, Cliff, you did get the sense when he was answering those questions from the opposition, there was a sense of righteous indignation from the minister. He was outraged on the floor of the House of Representatives. The Prime Minister is now addressing the House. So it's a busy afternoon in the Parliament.
Subject to getting the details of the terms of the loan, but I can definitely see you're talking about 150 million US dollars. That's about what, 28 billion Jamaican dollars,
yeah.
Versus keeping the country in darkness, not only the sufferation,
loss of productivity,
but the loss
and economic activity.
Precisely.
Yeah. The calculation is clear, but obviously we'll need the specifics, and the finance minister, he says, will provide that.
And when this thing emerged last week, the talk was, how were we going to help them to raise the money?
Right.
You know what has struck me is that the government of Jamaica
front that money,
can now put up that money. What a way things have changed.
Yeah. Hi, it's 3 minutes after 7. Things are hot here in Jamaica, and hotter in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where Ralph Gonsalves is fighting for his political life. We're going to go there after the break.
On October 28, 2025, Hurricane Melissa devastated Jamaica. But your government is mobilizing, reaching every community, delivering relief, and rebuilding together. The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is
4 minutes after 7.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy. New collaboration, run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch.
The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
St. James, we're coming to you. This Friday, November 28th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., the nationwide team continues our Rebuilding Jamaica Post-Melissa Relief OB series, broadcasting live from Anchovy High School and Cornwall College. Come share your stories, talk with our hosts, reconnect with loved ones on air, and let Jamaica hear how St. James is standing strong, rebuilding together. We'll be on location distributing care packages with our partners, the National Health Fund and the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, providing free health screenings and assisting with filling prescriptions. And to you, our listeners, we're asking for donations of non-perishable food items, cleaning supplies, hygiene products, diapers, and solar-powered lights, items that bring comfort and hope to families rebuilding after Hurricane Melissa. Every donation counts. Every act of kindness matters. Nationwide 90 FM, helping to rebuild Jamaica one community at a time. This outreach is made possible by our partners, NHF, OPM, Petrojam, Airport Authority, LMH Publishing, Ministry of Health and Wellness, NSWMA, Phoenix Vision, Kuna Caribbean Insurance, Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, and Region 4 of the Ministry of Education.
This is a public service announcement from the Transport Authority. The Transport Authority wishes to advise you or valuable customers that our mobile unit will be available in your area on Wednesday, November 26, 2025 and Friday, November 28, 2025 at the Sagicor Complex in Freeport, Montego Bay from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The following services will be offered: application for new and renewal of road licenses online, badge application and exam. Please be reminded that the authority does not accept cash payment. We look forward to serving you. That was a public service announcement from the Transport Authority.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Seven minutes after 7 in Kingston, Jamaica. It's 7 minutes after 8 in the eastern Caribbean islands of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is alleging election interference from a CARICOM neighbor, widely believed to be Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Gonsalves, whose Unity Labour Party is seeking a historic 6th consecutive term in office, says operatives from Trinidad and Tobago are working to help the opposition New Democratic Party win Thursday's general elections, Thursday, November 27th.
Speaking at a ULP youth rally, Dr. Gonsalves said he had evidence that 8 lawyers who he described as political activists were in his country under the guise of working on election day. He did not provide the evidence. Dr. Gonsalves later read out the names of the Trinidadians and told supporters he plans to publish their photographs.
He argued that anyone working in St. Vincent and the Grenadines without a work permit or a CARICOM skills certificate would be operating illegally. Dr. Gonsalves says only nationals from Barbados, Dominica, or Belize who recently completed freedom of movement arrangements under the CARICOM single market and economy could work in St. Vincent and the Grenadines without additional documentation.
We're now being joined by the Vincentian opposition leader, Godwin Friday. Mr. Friday, good evening.
Hi, good evening, and thank you so much for reaching out.
Are you receiving political support from operatives from Trinidad and Tobago?
Listen, I heard your intro there, and all of these things are just basically, desperation creeping into the camp of the ULP, and they will clutch at straws and make all kinds of allegations. If he has those statements to make, then it's for him to make them. We are here fighting an election based on the plans that were put forward to the people, and more recently since election was called, and we are doing this from the work that my members have been doing, from our organization has been doing, and the truth of the matter is the people are gravitating towards us. So, they're looking for explanations to find out why and what's happening to their own support, but that is for them to figure out. We have figured out what the people in this country are saying, that they need change, and we're providing that change to the people.
But isn't it a fact, Dr. Friday, that, listen, the parties in the Caribbean have fraternal relationships with their sister parties, and that the ULP, Dr. Gonsalves' party, has been getting support from the Barbados Labour Party in Barbados, the PNM in Trinidad and Tobago. Your party have fraternal relations with the governing party here in Jamaica, the Jamaica Labour Party, and that has been so for a long time throughout the Caribbean.
That is exactly true, and Gonsalves has gone over the Caribbean, going in people's platforms and making all kinds of statements and so forth. We have fraternal relations, as you mentioned, with the JLP, with NNP in Grenada, WP, Lucia, and these are issues we've had since the mid-80s, and we continue to have close ties. We are prepared at conventions, at solemn occasions, at funerals and so forth for party leaders, and we have had meetings under the auspices of the Caribbean Democratic. We continue to do that. This is necessary. Political parties that have the same ideological leanings and good fraternal relationships to build those ties across the Caribbean. We are, after all, seeking to build a united Caribbean and the CARICOM and the OECS And it happens at all different levels. This is just one level of cooperation and support that we lend to one another, but the notion that you're meddling into people's business and so forth, that's not what we are about today.
We should remind our listeners, Cliff, Mr. Friday, that the Vincentian Prime Minister was in Jamaica in the run-up to the September 3 general election. He was in East Portland. I believe he was the guest of the then candidate for the People's National Party, Isat Buchanan. All right, so I'm being told we're going to reconnect with Godwin Friday. We're talking to the Vincentian opposition leader. He's seeking to end the political reign of Ralph Gonsalves in St. Vincent.
Unity Labour Party has close fraternal relations with the opposition People's National Party.
Right, he was here. I recall he was a guest of Isat Buchanan in East Portland. What I want to get from now, Dr. Friday Cliff, is whether there is that strong anti-incumbent mood, because 6 consecutive terms, it's interesting because those who are fans of Gonsalves and his ilk, they were critical of Holness for seeking a 3rd term. And I've always said I find it so interesting because I've never heard those voices rise up in asking a question as to whether this arrangement in St. Vincent is undemocratic.
Okay. Dr. Friday is back. At this stage of the campaign, Dr. Friday, last night, day of campaigning, what has been your case to the Vincentian people?
What has been, repeat that to me, Cliff.
What has been your plank? What is your case? What have you argued?
Well, what we have presented to the people of this country is a plan for developing the economy. We have a plan that is based on what we call the 4 pillars. That is the 4 sectors of the economy that we believe that we can re-energize and rebuild and create more jobs and prosperity in the country, but also dealing with the social problems we have in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have had 3 years of record numbers of homicides in this country. We have a sense of alienation by the young people. There's 41% unemployment amongst young people, the general unemployment of over 20%. We have cost of living crisis that the government fails to acknowledge. Infrastructure, the roads and bridges and jetties and all these kinds of things have been allowed to run down. The healthcare system, people find it dangerous and are afraid to go to a hospital. These are situations, these are things that the people in the country are crying out for solutions, and we have listened to them, and we have presented solutions to them, and they are now seeing that the New Democratic Party has the better plan for the future. In fact, the present government has not really put forward a plan. They have failed to essentially deal with the problems that are confronting the people right now, and trying simply to generate fear and accusations and seeking to somehow guard the opposition and vilify members of my party and other persons who are wishing us well, rather than seeking to deal with the problems that the people of the country are confronting. And that is where the dissociation is taking place. And they can't understand why is it that people are saying, listen, I can't put bread on my table, I can't feed my children to go send them to school, I can't fix my roof and it leaking. And you're talking about operatives coming from other countries, you're talking about Friday calling his name all the time, and rather than dealing with the country's problems. And that's what they're confronting now. And so we continue to post our message and forget about what they're talking about.
What are the polls saying, though? Have there been polls so far?
Well, our research is showing that the people in the country, let me just remind you, last election in 2020, the New Democratic Party won the popular vote. The government, because in our first past poll system, that happens sometimes.
Yes.
The ULP won more seats, but we won the popular vote. So in a pure democratic sense, we were the party of choice of the people. This time around, our party is more popular than it was then. I expect that will translate not just in the popular vote by a larger majority, but also in the number of seats that we win. And our research has demonstrated this, and other persons who have done their own work. I'm told that even the ULP's own research has said this to them, and this is why you find that they're flailing around and hurling accusations left, right, and center rather than trying to deal with the problems of the country.
Going into the elections on Thursday, you have 15 seats in the House of Assembly.
Yes.
You have how many of the 15?
Currently, we have 6 and we intend to gain a majority and a comfortable majority, and this is what we're working for. And tonight we have our culminating rally, our last big rally of the campaign, and we go to our constituencies and tomorrow consolidate the gains we've made and prepare for the vote on Thursday.
What is it about Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, the incumbent, why he has been able to hold on to power for so long?
Well, there are many, we can do a treatise on this, but there are many reasons why they have managed to hold political power. It's not always by fully democratic means. We've seen in the last elections that there have been many serious allegations that came out in the petitions that we raised, but also the fact that they have, sought by many means to influence the way in which people vote by essentially, as they're doing now, spreading fear about the opposition, and also by using the government, the treasury, and their own resources to, at election time, seek to, curry favor with the voters by providing all kinds of tweets and so forth.
Mm-hmm. On one of the platforms, I heard Camilo Gonsalves, the son of Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, accusing you and members of the opposition of bereft of experience in government, that you don't know how to meet the payroll, that you all have no experience running government. How do you respond to that kind of criticism?
The way I responded, as I say, if from their performance, that is the performance of experience, well, I will say I bring a new approach, because what we have had now in the present government is that with all the experience, as I outlined, we have a country that the debt is now approaching $3 billion. You're taking 42 cents of every dollar. Could you roll in the back up, please? Have, increasing difficulty in meeting our debt obligations. All of these things from a government that's been in power for 25 years and supposedly has all the experience necessary to run the country properly.
Yes.
But in fact, what they've done, they failed. We have very experienced people in different forms, different activities and different careers, and very capable people to run the government, and we can do so from day one, and that's what I intend to do. So, they came into office back in 2001. Gonsalves have had no experience in government.
Yes.
The problem is that in the 25 years he hasn't learned much.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Godwin Friday.
You're very welcome, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you and to your audience. And we are here finishing the active part of the campaign with a massive rally that we are holding in Camden Park. And tomorrow we will, as I say, consolidate our gains, and we look forward to the polls opening on Thursday, and I hope we'll have an interview where I can tell you exactly how we are going to govern the country going forward.
Well, I'm glad to know that you will be speaking with us on Thursday night or Friday morning. By your numbers, it shall be. What's the prediction by your numbers?
Well, listen, my ambition, my expectation is that we will win the election. I want to win comfortably. I expect that we will do so. And I trust the people of this country to give us a strong, overwhelming mandate to be able to carry the country forward. What that will be, we will wait and see, but it will be a strong mandate for the Democratic Party.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Friday.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thanks.
Good.
Thanks.
Dr. Friday is sounding upbeat and confident. And the people I've been talking to on the ground who live in Jamaica, from Jamaica, they seem to think that, yes, there is an anti-incumbent mode.
Yeah.
And that this might just be the one where Gonsalves will fall. But we'll see.
I was there last year in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Did he say unemployment there was 40%? Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Youth unemployment.
And general unemployment was 20%.
20.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was definitely an anti-incumbency. Well, after 25 years of unbroken rule,
you would expect that.
You would expect that, yeah. But Ralph Gonsalves is an old political master.
He knows how to win an election.
He knows how to win, yeah. And don't rule him out. All right. After the break, your calls.
St. James, we're coming to you. This Friday, November 28th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., the nationwide team continues our Rebuilding Jamaica Post-Melissa Relief OB series, broadcasting live from Anchovy High School and Cornwall College. Come share your stories, talk with our hosts, reconnect with loved ones on air, and let Jamaica hear how St. James is standing strong, rebuilding together. We'll be on location distributing care packages with our partners, the National Health Fund and the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, providing free health screenings and assisting with filling prescriptions. And to you, our listeners, we're asking for donations of non-perishable food items, cleaning supplies, hygiene products, diapers, and solar-powered lights, items that bring comfort and hope to families rebuilding after Hurricane Melissa. Every donation counts. Every act of kindness matters. Nationwide 90 FM, helping to rebuild Jamaica one community at a time. This outreach is made possible by our partners, NHF, OPM, Petrojam, Airport Authority, LMH Publishing, Ministry of Health and Wellness, NSWMA, Phoenix Vision, Kuna Caribbean Insurance, Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, and Region 4 of the Ministry of Education.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Taboo topics. Voyagings after dark.
Riveting discussions.
Celebrity news and interviews.
Topics that are shunned by society.
And everything else in between. Voyagings After Dark with Kareem Voyagings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m. Voyagings After Dark. No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored. Voyagings After Dark.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Minutes after 7, we're taking your calls. 876-630-9371 to 4, 876-618-6730. Just before we go to Bookman Cliff, permit me to say thank you to the Nationwide listeners who have been extremely kind in their gifts, their words of comfort, sympathy, condolences. I returned to work to a small pile of gifts and cards and well wishes, and thank you all so very much. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir. Good.
Bookman, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, you hear me, Sir Cliff?
Yes.
Yeah, last night I called, but I didn't know why I was answering, but you're not hearing me, like something didn't go well. Anyway, I called about this thing, this road network we have in Jamaica right here. We have too much pothole developing up, As a little rain come, the pothole them resurge on us. You understand?
No. Not a little rain. we have been getting a lot of rain. Yes. Listen, no sir. Between Melissa and the usual, because we have had a wet year. This year, the Met Service tells us we have been having above average rainfall. It's not a little rain.
The ground was saturated before Melissa came.
You want to have these potholes, right? Take for instance on the I-95. I drive on there regularly, right? You hear me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
The I-95, that's where in Portmore?
Portmore.
Yes, man.
Yes.
Man. And I tell you, saying, some potholes start emerge on it, you know, and nobody looking after it now. These roads, you can't leave these roads to like outside contractor. You have to have a in-house team, like when we look at youth. With our country, we have the public works and the parish council, chuck them, go around and then pass these things.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Mm-hmm. As them start break out, you're supposed to go and seal them. Why do they have this thing, this habit where them do and wait till the thing them come out big and the people are swing out?
Well, I think there's a scam involved with this road work thing in Jamaica. I think it's a scam. Yeah, there are some roads where my road that I may eat a food. Yeah, every 6 months or twice a year. Yeah, me have to get a food after it.
You have to cut out though, you know.
Yes, because I'm the first to tell you we have had a lot of water, a lot of rain. Mm-hmm. But some of the road works are not being done properly.
And we have a general maintenance problem in terms of maintaining the infrastructure.
Yeah. So I agree with you, sir. I agree with you.
The road, them don't build with in a proper drainage system. The road, some of them just flat and the water cycling it. It's supposed to, the water supposed to run either side or even one side then. And they're not doing that. Right? Take for instance now. You're driving on the Spanish Town Road, you have a lot of bush inside and the media and they're not cutting it they're not cutting it in the night. It's very difficult to drive on the extreme right lane. You don't see any marking. You wonder, might look up all of the media. No?
Yes.
You understand? This road man clean and then paint the media those curved walls, man, at the media. You understand?
Yes.
Spanish Town Road is a big, broad and dirty.
Several roads, sir. Marcus Garvey Drive.
Pothole in it.
Yeah? And some dangerous, then a pothole, then there are craters. Yeah?
Let me add the potholes in the vicinity of Manly Meadows in East Kingston. That stretch needs light. There's poorly lit and some big hole on it.
Before you drive on Spanish Town Road at night time, you know, even the I-95, you know.
Yes.
It is very dangerous. It no light, and you don't know, brother. Even on Mandela Highway, you have a pothole now developing up. Right where you have those that industrial park over there.
Yes.
I'm coming from Portmore one night, and you have to just reach out on the pothole, and then you have to swing out from the pothole, and that can cause accidents now. You break up suddenly, you know.
Yes.
We know expect, you know.
There's one that I think is particularly dangerous. It's not a pothole, it's a crater. Just beyond Customs, yeah? On Marcus Garvey Drive, going west, yeah? That one, trust me, that one is deadly. I fear for any driver who's not aware of it and is caught in that one. That one will take your life and take your vehicle.
Yeah.
You know what happened to me with a pothole? I was traveling on this road, one night, and I suddenly meet up on a pothole in Mr. Youth. And same time as I break up, I hear a vehicle, I draw them brake behind me hard, and I have to just speed up through the whole love. Fast,
Yeah.
Just quick thinking and just speed up through it, And that is very bad.
Yep.
I asked Mr. Hughes, tell Mr. Morgan, them said, them forget an in-house thing, Mr. Wholeness, and this man at NWA, the head of NWA, this man, the EG Hunter, where you never can talk to.
Yes.
I don't know what is in for, what is in use. I don't know.
Boy, but man, you're right about the situation in and around the corporate area, but I suspect the NWA will tell you that they're elsewhere. Their attention is elsewhere.
Especially
now.
at this time.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right about the situation in and around the corporate area.
I mean, I beg you, tell Mr. Wellness, Mr. Drop, Mr. EG Hunter here. So the man in there giving good advice about the road.
Repeat that for me. What you say?
It's a E.G. Hunter. Whenever you talk to that man, yet you might at the head of NWA.
Mm-hmm. Who should draw him up?
His portfolio minister, the prime minister.
Exactly.
Government draw him up and say, well, me never hear this man come talk and with the plan for the road and make the road better, the service better, and maintenance of the road. And we advise the man and say, we don't need that in-house thing. Like when we are you PWD there, you don't have to build it big like first.
Mm-hmm.
But I could maintain and see we go around and patch the road because this thing, if I the outside contractor away pan, they have to wait till they hold them big and wide before they give them up.
For example, on Long Lane, yes, that there's a road that section of the road just below 5 Long Lane, where the apartments are. Apparently, there's an underground water source, and they fixed it less than a year ago. Yeah? And it is terrible again. Less than a year. And it is going to cause an accident because there's a little strip that is not so bad that the drivers, including me who have to use it, tend to use. And then you're barely missing traffic oncoming. Yeah? Long Lane. Mr. Hunter. Yeah? Please, Mr. Morgan. Whole heap of them across the country.
Mr. Hughes, you talk about Mr. Hunter. Mr. Hunter answer to nobody.
All right, Boatman, thanks for the call.
Yes, sir.
630-9371-24 618-6730. Carl.
Mr. Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hughes.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. I heard your struggle today because Senator Morgan said something to you today about a member of parliament, and I heard your struggle.
Senator Morgan. Marlon Morgan. Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
So a member of parliament want the government to provide him with a delicate in office.
You mean a generator?
A generator.
You can't age yourself, you know.
Mr. Hughes, how them the one lead government? Where them here come from? The one lead government. No, if you have so much business place around your constituency, why you can't go to them and ask for some donation for a $50,000, about $55,000, we don't get one. And if this lady want the taxpayer of Jamaica to buy her one, a generator.
That was kind of ridiculous.
But here the leader, the opposition this evening again come back with him $50 million again in our parliament.
Well, next time he come with $500 million.
Mr. Hughes, you are taking things to joke now.
But it's a joke.
I'm not joking time in a Jamaica.
He told us a couple of weeks ago that he was just throwing out a number.
But he come back with it this evening.
Well, that's why we're going to throw out a number, make it 500 million.
And, in continue, I heard Mr. Valls also, and I am struggling from even what I heard Mr. Valls said, the minister said, that the leader of the opposition is telling them, almost as try to tell them, don't give JPS the money to carry in those equipment, make the people stand in the darkness. If you must say enough to give JPS the money to carry the equipment, they are bringing people.
You mean lend JPS?
Lend JPS the money to carry the equipment and carrying the people and fix back a line and something. That means you say people must remain in the darkness.
For some time, yes.
But, so that part of the country then, Mr. Hughes, let me see if we have any brain. That part of the country will come down to more than the poverty line in 6 months' time, because there will be no revenue generating from those areas.
Yes, sir. It's just 1 + 1 = 2 economic sense. The government can find 150 million, lend it to JPS, get it back over 3, 4 years, 5 years, while the people, the thousands of people in those areas, can start to generate production. Yeah, the production level, the productivity levels of their output, is going to pay back for that $150 million in no
Thank
time.
you. And you want to tell me that the leader of the opposition don't understand that?
Basic
And the leader of the opposition don't understand that?
Me don't know, you know. Me don't know.
You said something during the break, Cliff, and we should share it with the listeners. One of the things that we're seeing from this Wholeness Cabinet is that it's benefiting from having senior members who understand business.
And money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah,
That's
they
true.
understand it. Yeah. It's a no-brainer. Yeah?
Mr. Hughes, for the leader of the opposition, if he really get up in parliament and say such foolishness, you know, never let you go, you know.
All right.
When somebody ever really take over a leader of the opposition, that's when they say something we can understand and you have some sense in it. Somebody needs to come up. Me here say Dayton Campbell challenge him next year still. But can't wait.
Go on, Carl. You know you're not like
that will be an
go on.
easy,
Go on.
will be an easy
Go on.
fourth
You know
term.
you're not like go on.
Yes, now we hear it out. I wrote now.
Six
That will be a
trees.
more easier fourth term.
Goodbye, Carl. 630-937-124, 618-6730. We're taking your calls. This is Nationwide at 5. Who's next? Papa Nana.
Oh my God.
Hello, my friend.
Tell me something. You want children in play name long run shortage. Rather young girl. You know all everyone catch you. What you do?
I'm not too bad, Papa Nana, under the circumstances.
The first thing I want you to do, I want you to give me a sample crying.
A what?
A sample crying.
A sample crying.
Yeah.
I don't think I can manage that tonight.
What kind of question that you ask, man, Papa Nana?
Oh, they don't really want to hear it because they know you not coming in, you know. You. But anyway, just cheer up here, my son. I had a lot of that. So you just cheer up here.
Thank you, Papa Nana.
Yes, man. Love them at the best station, but I want somebody in the best with. I heard the two people, including Mr. Dennis, Mr. Davis, this morning, and he played something from the opposition leader, and I thought Mr. Hughes would elaborate on it. I had never heard of anything like this before. This morning deserves an award.
What was that?
When they was playing how the opposition was telling the government to spend the money and ease up this and that, and the government did not follow the silly advice.
Oh, you're talking Siobhan Campbell's What's on My Mind commentary.
Yes.
Oh.
And I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it, you know. I've been hearing about it, but I didn't hear it myself.
Well, let me tell you something. That one needs an award. It is an award-winning show, I'm telling you. Yes,
okay.
man. And the next thing, let me move fast now. I hear a gentleman talking about the road. First time you used to have engineer. Not you.
Mm-hmm.
First time you used to have engineer.
Yes.
That fix road. No, he's not engineer. Them have engine mount. Because every month the road mash up, so you don't have no engineer again. No engine mount them have.
All right, point made, Papa Nana. You made the point.
No, that's very good. No, that's very good. You know what I am bitter about? And I want you, maybe not tonight, to tell me, because you is one of the persons who are able to break down things for people who...
We're losing you, Papa Nana. Repeat that for me.
I don't know how I'm going to feel until I hear more about it from you, Mr. Hughes.
What is that?
About the JPS, the one that the government. Do JPS fight against South Black?
No, Papa Nana, the line going.
Oh my.
Sorry about that, Papa Nana.
You're not hearing me now?
Go again?
Hello? You hearing me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. I am saying how the JPS fight against the present government in the last year. I swear that what about the security for that?
No, Papa Nana, the line bad. Not hearing you. Sorry about that.
I think I understand what he's trying to say. How to justify how the government would turn around and lend JPS $150 million. Yes?
Okay.
Because he feels that the JPS has been
They don't deserve it.
good.
They don't deserve it.
Well, Papa Nana, to answer it very simple. Yeah? The government has to take care of the people. There are thousands and thousands of people who are facing the sufferation, the lack of productivity, yes, for months to come if JPS does not get the financing it needs to bring in the kind of equipment, accessories, wires, tools, and personnel to speed up the restoration of the power, the light, to those people in Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, St. James, Hanover, Trelawney. So what the government has done is to make what you call a rational economic decision. It has the resources to lend JPS the money, for JPS to be able to bring back the light by the end of January, early February, not way down into the middle of the year. So those people can get back into their jobs and get on with their lives.
And ease the misery.
And ease the misery on those people. While at the same time, you satisfy that, you restore some elements of production in the country, and most importantly, JPS will pay back the government in 2 years, 3 years. It's a rational economic decision.
Subject, of course, to hearing the particulars.
Terms and conditions.
Finance Minister. You know, Cliff, I want to say something, because this morning I was listening to the People's National Party's media briefing, and at one point I thought I stepped into the twilight zone. There was a section of the media briefing where Dr. Dayton Campbell and Dwayne Vaz, they were decrying the fact that the people of Westmoreland did not have titles for the land that they've built on, and they were essentially saying, this is part of the problem that's compounding the situation we're seeing in Westmoreland after Melissa. And I thought to myself, one political party has represented that parish for more than 30 years now.
The better part of the last 50 years.
That parish, the 3 constituencies, has produced a prime minister for the People's National Party.
P.J. Patterson.
A tourism minister.
Dr. Wickham McNeil.
A housing and water minister.
Dr. Carl Blythe.
A junior minister, if I recall correctly. Luther Buchanan was a junior minister, wasn't he?
Yes.
And I am saying...
A minister of agriculture. Roger Clark, of blessed memory.
And I'm saying to myself, when I listen to the conversation, Blythe would have led Operation
Pride.
Right.
And he was the Minister of Water and Housing.
What was done for the people of Westmoreland such that their access to titles for the land they built on was accelerated? And in the analysis this morning, as the People's National Party laid out the challenges they're having with the response, that was glaringly absent. And it must be said that has to be a part of the calculation. That those people have been ill-served, poorly served for so long, and now that they have been struck by
an extraordinary...
No, and I grant that, an extraordinary disaster, but the fact is that they were poorly served before.
Yes.
And that should be said.
Yes. Yes. And I didn't hear the media briefing. I was on air at the time. And I can't understand the political dunceness, that betrays, to not acknowledge that you have been in government and have represented the parish for the most of the last 50 years, when this problem would have been established and been developing, you'd have seen it happening, and you try to absolve yourself from it. They think that Jamaicans are idiots.
Or is the calculation that this is a new era of the PNP, so the history doesn't matter?
And that would be dunce. That would be political dunceness.
Yeah, I found it strange, more than a little strange.
The better thing to do is to own it, to say, yes, this is something that we should have done. We didn't do it. We're not at the wicket now. So we are asking the Holness administration to put it as top priority as we reimagine the rebuilding of parishes such as Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth.
And let us be absolutely clear, the people of Westmoreland need help. We were there last Friday. They need help.
Desperate there.
But we must speak the truth and put these things into proper context.
Yeah.
Who is next? Charlie.
Good night, friend.
Hello, Charlie.
Good night. Thanks to be on your program.
Yes, sir. Good night. Welcome.
Good night, Mr. Hughes. My
Welcome.
blessing and gratitude go to the Iron King and condolences, respect.
Thank you, Charlie.
So I'm concerned about the country and things, and development. So boy, an hurricane passed through and we never expect it, and some claims that they were fully ready and equipped and have everything in place, shelter and all, and everything will be restored after. President?
What was that?
I'm saying that, like, before the hurricane, people was warned about the kind of hurricane that we're going to face, and that the government have come out and said that he has everything in place. President?
Well, did they say they had everything in place? Did they say that? I don't think they said that.
All emergency.
Charlie?
Yes, sir.
You said all emergency what?
All emergency and evacuation equipment are in place, and buses are restored to send the family who wants to
yes. So certain vulnerable communities, yes, the JUTC was available to relocate people if they wanted to be, they should have been relocated because in some instances the order was mandatory, yes.
Okay. An issue of Boeing Flight 765. You know about the DHS involvement in the Jamaican aftermath development?
The Jamaican aftermath development?
Yeah, after the hurricane.
No, sir, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking.
The letter that was sent to the DHS.
To the DHS?
That Jamaica was struggling to restore.
What is the DHS?
Department of Homeland Security.
The letter was sent by who?
NOEMURGING. That name sounds familiar?
NOEM?
Yes, URGING.
Noem.
Yvette D. Clark.
The congresswoman?
Cry so. I guess you're weird.
And who sent her a letter?
That letter was received by in the name NOEM.
The Secretary of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Oh, Christy Nome.
And she said she acted quite responsive in deploying.
Deploying what?
Service to the country, Jamaica.
As in U.S. assistance?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're saying Yvette Clark has asked the Secretary of Homeland Security to send assistance to Jamaica?
Which they said was already deployed.
Oh, okay. I think I'm following now. So FEMA, which is the Federal Emergency Response Agency, falls under the Department of Homeland Security. Yvette Clark was asking for assistance to come to Jamaica?
Yeah, TPS.
Well, the Trump administration did send assistance.
So why we still have, I guess maybe because of lack of workers, we have setback on the electricity board.
Oh, no. So the Trump administration's assistance was not specific to electricity restoration. It didn't involve that. That was my recollection. So we're getting linesmen from, I think, Guyana.
Out of the U.S. too.
Out of the U.S. Okay. Well, there you go.
And the gentleman...
No, sir. We need to give somebody else a chance now.
All right. Thanks, Charlie. Stefan.
Hello.
Yes. Hi, Stefan.
Yes, evening, Ricardo. Evening, Mr. Hughes.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, first things first. Mr. Brooks, please accept my condolences on the loss of your grandma.
Thank you.
Mr. Hughes, I was listening to your program this morning, and during your monologue, you were saying that I think it's the local hoteliers in Jamaica on the west coast that was badly affected, that they're asking for support from the government.
Yes, we spoke with the president of the JHTA last night, Mr. Chris Jarrett, and he said, it was Robin Russell and Chris Jarrett who said
Robin Russell and Adam Stewart.
Who said they needed help. They needed a stimulus package.
Right.
Yeah, but Mr. Hughes, aren't these persons, aren't they operating private enterprise?
Yes.
Yeah, so shouldn't their businesses be insured and...
Yes, but also it is not unheard of, yes, if businesses get licked in a catastrophic event such as this. Yes, there is precedence and there is rational decision policy making to help businesses because businesses employ people.
And especially in tourism, that's so critical to the health of the economy.
Yes.
I do understand that, and I see your point. I would more prefer, right, if we're going to assist persons, it would be persons in the micro and those small operators, who really need the assistance. These people are big businesses enough. And let me tell you something.
Not all of them.
Let me tell you something.
Deja Resort wouldn't be considered one of the bigger ones.
During the good times, when tourism is booming, because tourism was booming recently, and they were enjoying large occupancy rates and etc., right?
Yeah.
I don't remember any of these persons offering locals 10% or 25% off to stay at their hotel dinner. I know they want me as a taxpayer to turn around and give them stimulus package.
No, I think you're characterizing it wrongly, sir. I think...
and some of them have offered locals.
Yes.
Yeah, to be fair, some of them have. From time to time, they do actually. Yeah, man.
Really? Well, I've not heard of it.
Yeah, man.
I've not heard of it.
From time to time.
Right?
Might not be as significant as you'd want, but from time to time it happens.
I've not heard of it. There was a lady who called. I think she said she's from St. James. She's blind. And she said she applied to get on the PATH program twice.
Yes.
And she was not accepted for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right? Now, this lady is blind. She has end-stage renal failure. Right? I don't know if a lot of persons understand what that means. End-stage renal failure means that if this person does not get a kidney transplant, she's basically looking to check out.
Yes.
Right? Persons, I believe the persons like those who really can't help themselves are persons who we should be helping.
Yes.
And there are many persons like that who have no homes, who have nothing. I believe if taxpayers' money is to be used, it is to be used to help those persons. While I do agree that it provides employment, these hotels provide employment and etc. I mean, everybody can't be looking to government for stimulus and all of that. You should put yourself in a position that you should be able at least clean up and start your business, and then over time you address the issues that you're having.
Yes, and that's why
everybody's looking to government for stimulus package.
In the case of that lady, we are going to take up her case with the Minister of Labour and Social Security, because we can't understand why, based on what she told us, why she is being denied a benefit under the PATH program. Yeah, and we are going to take up that matter with the Minister of Labour and Social Security. I should also tell you that we received a call after the program from a Jamaican organization in New York who say they are going to give her a monetary, some monetary assistance, and I trust others will step forward. But the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, we're going to take up our case with them, sir.
But,
okay, that's
but your point about the small businesses, absolutely agree. All right?
Yes. One last thing before I go. Have you guys heard any word on the Solidarity Program?
No.
Is it a no-go at this time because of what has happened? Because the person should have been looking to start collecting their 20,000 now, but with everything that's happening, it seems as if it's a no-go.
Well, the Prime Minister did say that some of the... that was well before. That was well before. So perhaps that one will go through, but some of the promises from the campaign will have to be reconsidered.
Okay.
But thank you for the call.
Yeah, man. Have a good evening.
Okay. That's how we're going to leave it for this evening. Want to say thanks to all of our callers or contributors or YouTubers or WhatsAppers and our tweets. Of course, our producer, Sonia Stewart, and our technical operator, Damien Cunningham, and the members of the news and production team. Thank you all so much. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
St. James, we're coming to you. This Friday, November 28th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., the nationwide team continues our Rebuilding Jamaica Post-Melissa Relief OB series, broadcasting live from Anchovy High School and Cornwall College. Come share your stories, talk with our hosts, reconnect with loved ones on air, and let Jamaica hear how St. James is standing strong, rebuilding together. We'll be on location distributing care packages with our partners, the National Health Fund and the Pharmaceutical Society of Jamaica, providing free health screenings and assisting